Hardware at Quince and White Station. And we're excited to offer the best selection of Big Green Egg and Traeger grills. And then don't forget about our Benjamin Moore Paint Studio and the Garden Center for fall flowers. Save 60% with our new Duracell key fob replacement program. We have a master locksmith service as well as glass cutting and screen repair. We're located at Quince and White Station behind Three Little Pigs. Look forward to seeing everyone over the holidays.
Christmas in Memphis comes early this year. Bring the family and join a group of all Memphis musicians Monday night from 6:30 to 10:30 for a Christmas in Memphis concert at Neil's Music Room on Quince. Live auctions, silent auctions, raffles, and Santa will be there, as well as pictures for the kids. Admission is $10 adults, $5 for kids. All proceeds benefit St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. It's Christmas in Memphis for family and friends by Memphis musicians Monday night at Neil's on Quince. Ho, ho, ho.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. It's time for Sports Time with Wolo and Stacks. The first hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin and Brett Stotts Norsworthy.
Ho, 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 Merry Christmas. Thank you for joining us today. I know you're all getting busy. Many of you are out there late, second shopping all over the place. And if you are and you're in your car and you're frustrated by all of the crazy traffic, people cutting you off, just relax. Take it slow. 'Tis the season to be jolly. Listen to us. And take it easy. Brett, by the way, off. We'll chat with Brett on Thursday after Christmas. He will come back. In the meantime, lots of stuff to go over for today, that is for sure. But I do start with some bad news. A gentleman who was very nice to this radio station and to this show, and to many of the hosts on this show, because he allowed us to go every year on his junction, a little get-together, junket to Augusta National. The news came out late Saturday evening that our friend Henry Brenner passed away. If you had not heard that, I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news. Henry was only 73 the last couple of years. He has just not been healthy. But even with all those health issues, he continued to put those trips together for various charities to Augusta National. He loved golf. He loved it with a passion, and was a man who's passionate about a lot of different things. He will be so missed by so many people in this community. I will be one of those that will miss him greatly too. But I did want to pass along the news. In this season of joy, we have some sadness, and that is that Henry Brenner is gone. There was good news today for the University of Memphis. Last time they were in the top 10, I believe, was 2007 and 8. So we're talking 12 years ago. Drew, you've got a different time slot on that?
Yeah, it's actually a part of my not top story. The last time the Tigers were in the AP top 10, it was November 21st of 2011 when they were ranked 8th. They were 1-0 at the time.
They were ranked 8th in 2011, so that's Josh Pastner era.
Yes.
I didn't think they ever – I knew they got – I was thinking 12, 13. I never realized they got to 8. Okay.
They quickly dropped out of the top 25. I think they won their next game and then lost 2 of the next 3.
All right, you know what? Since you've already given that is your top story of the day. Why don't you let me do mine? We'll get to that right, because we've got a busy show starting with Cam Kinley. If you are familiar with that name at all, you might be. He's a Memphian, played high school ball at Lausanne, and Cam Kinley is now at the Naval Academy, and he will be in town relatively soon for the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. We'll chat with the Navy cornerback coming your way at 3:15. At 3:30, we got medals. We might go down to Dallas and visit with our friend Jarvis Greer. Then at 4, David Cobb, who's in town with his Grizzlies, the beat writer for the Commercial Appeal, is probably getting ready for the San Antonio Spurs tonight. They're in town. Grizz play them. 4:30, our final appearance of the year with John Thompson, our coach down in Atlanta. We'll talk some college football with him. A real treat at 5 o'clock, a Hall of Famer. He's, by the way, not just in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, he's also in the College Football Hall of Fame, was a consensus All-American in 1970. I think it was 1970. And he's a cool guy. His Penn State teams had 2 undefeated teams. His name is Jack Ham, and he is the analyst for the Penn State Nittany Lions that Memphis will face on the 30th. Jack Ham will join us at 5:30. We got the Monday Night Football Big Four, and we'll end this pre-Christmas Eve show. We'll end it with crunch time at about 5:50. In the meantime,
Top story of the day.
my top story of the day is along those lines, at least with the U of M. You mentioned number 9 in the polls. That's big. Precious Achiuwa, the American Athletic Conference Freshman of the Week. And also, here's some other good news. Kenneth Gainwell, named today one of 7 semifinalists for the National Football Writers of America Association Freshman of the Year. They trim it to 3 on January 1st. And then I'm not even sure when they announce the finals, but
I'm sure he'll definitely be in the finals, though. I mean, the kid has had one of, if not the greatest, one of the best freshman campaigns I've ever seen.
well, he had 200 yards rushing and 100-yard receiving once, almost twice.
Had at
And
least
he's-
200 yards rushing 3 times, I believe.
He's 2,000 yards, all-purpose yards, all from the line of scrimmage. That's without returns. So he is pretty special. I got the feeling he makes the 3. I really was looking, and maybe you will if we get a chance. Let's try to see who the 7 are, and whittle it down from there. So those are the top stories of the day.
Not top story of the day.
Now this has to do with the poll, and you're going to go, what? Why is this a bad story? Gonzaga today, in this new poll that Memphis is number 9, they are the new number 1. Last year, the whole year, we only had 3 schools that reached the heights of number 1. This year, Gonzaga becomes the 6th. Now, the record, I believe I read, is 7. What makes this story sad to me is there could have been a 7th. It could have come later in the year, maybe in the NCAA tournament, because I don't think Gonzaga's got anybody left on their schedule that's going to knock them off, unless St. Mary's or there's a conference foe that knows them well that gets them. But what makes it sad is had Wiseman decided to stay, the Tigers could have been the 7th team.
Yeah, I definitely think they could have, and I still think they can. I think they showed it on Saturday. I know Jackson State's not the greatest opponent that the Tigers have played or will play, but a very good team, a team that is designed to turn you over, and the Tigers did have a lot of turnovers in that game Saturday, but still played pretty well, won by 28 points, I believe, and could still ultimately be that number 1 team.
So if I told you that the Tigers would turn the ball over 28 times, there's no way you can beat a team by 28 when you turn it over 28 times, and yet they did. Of course, that team turned it over 25. That may be the sloppiest game that I've seen in a long time. 53 combined turnovers. The Tigers did shoot 56% for the game, and that's why they were able to pull away. The combination of the other team's turnovers as well, and when Memphis shot, pretty much they made it.
My not top story of the day, the NCAA has placed TCU's athletic programs on probation for 1 year after the Horned Frog self-reported violations that includes 33 football and men's and women's basketball players receiving payments for work not actually performed at the university's summer employees from 2015 to 18. According to the NCAA decision, the student athletes did not clock out when they left the job site at the TCU physical plant, which hires athletes along with non-athletes to change light bulbs on campus. Total of the 4 years, student athletes received about $19,738 of money that they did not work for.
19,000?
Yes.
So, do you think a year's probation without any loss of games or postseason is going to hold up? That all they're saying is, okay, we did this, we shouldn't have, we got caught. We're self-reporting, though, once we realized this was going on to the tune of $19,000 in 4 years and 33 different athletes. It took them a long time. 33 athletes, 4 years. Interesting. Anyway, do you think that's enough of a penalty?
I personally don't, but the NCAA even said that any type of game of what's the word?
Suspensions?
Suspensions and forcing. I can't think of the word right now. When you win a game and they take it away, what's that called?
Vacated.
Vacated. That's it. They even said
forget
vacating wins doesn't apply here or anything like that. Even though, like I said, 33 athletes were performing while they were ineligible for receiving improper benefits.
For taking $11,500. That was was supposed to be a 9-game suspension. It's supposed to be a third of the year. I mean, this is collective, so it's hard to figure.
It is hard to figure, but the NCAA
honestly,
never gets anything right in the first place.
And the truth is, you have to look and see what the sports are and really what all the circumstances are. And I'm just saying this in a somewhat bitter mood because they just cost Memphis a guy that could have gotten them the national championship game. And he got a 12-game suspension, was originally going to be 9. They exacerbated school itself, exacerbated the situation, and made it from 9 to 12. And then the kid decided he didn't want to play anymore.
TCU was also fined $20,000 for the money that they gave the student athletes for not clocking out, and plus 10% of the revenue that they got from their first round in the NCAA tournament last year. Is
the school going to pay that back, or is that going to be so the
athletes don't owe anything?
Wiseman was going to have to pay the $11,500 himself.
Yes, which is complete 180 from what they did 3 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, they never seem to get it right.
No, I really, you're kind of springing this one on me. I did not see that today in all the stuff that I looked at.
It's really buried down there. I mean, you got to try to look for it.
You did. Give you credit for finding it. And I don't really know enough. I just do know that the way that penalties are legislated is not uniform. It's not out in front for everybody to see. There's no rhyme or reason, and so you look skeptically upon anything that they do because you just figure they're probably not going to get it right. And if you're a Memphis fan, you're going right now, wait a second, they had all those athletes, and the NCAA is going to accept probation for a year? I'll tell you what, I wish they'd have done that for Memphis. We'd have taken a probation for a year with postseason and everything else. That's a slap on the hand. That's nothing.
I mean, it's really not even probation. I mean, it's almost like the line from Animal House. They're on double secret super probation. I mean, which basically means nothing. All it means is that I guess that the NCAA is going to watch TCU a little bit more than they would. But as far as probation when it comes to NCAA doesn't mean anything.
By the way, the Bad Boy Mowers Gasparilla Bowl, the bowl that I think now has more titles in its name than any other bowl, is all UCF at the moment. 3 minutes left to go in the first half. And the Knights of Central Florida are on top of Marshall by a score of 21-7. If that were to hold up, my record would suddenly become, I believe, 8-3. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, 6-3. I'm 5-3 at the moment in all of our picking. with only 2 games left to go before we repick next week.
I haven't done my sheet, but off the top of my head, I think I've won 5 games so far.
Well, Buffalo won, Kent State won, San Diego State won, Liberty won, SMU won, Arkansas State won, Washington won big, and App State won.
Yeah, 4 then. So you're beating me.
They're just checking, just to make sure. In the meantime, we will be talking here momentarily with Cam and Cam Kinley from Navy. I'm looking forward to hearing what a young man has to say about what is really a homecoming for him. That should be a lot of fun to listen to his thoughts on Kansas State and coming to the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. In the meantime, I'll let you know we're in the Family Leisure Studios, and man, they got this, buy one, get one half off until tomorrow night, Christmas Eve. And then it goes away. I've got a feeling, in fact, I know there's going to be another sale, and you're going to like that. But this one's cool. So if you're looking for that perfect gift and you haven't found it quite yet and you really want to make a big impression, you go to Family Leisure, you buy that gift, and it could be a doozy for your someone special. Then you can get the second one half off, and that could be for you or somebody else that is special. And I'll give you an example. You go there now, you can get a pool table for as low as $1,499. You can get an arcade, normally $999 half price. Or maybe you get a hot tub for $1,400, and you can get a massage chair for half the price of $699. Oh, my goodness. Please get there. You will love what you see. That's Family Leisure, I-40 and Wooden Road. It is a pleasure. I suspect we are good right now. Cam Kinley, is he's going to join us right now. Cam, very nice to get the chance to chat with you. I know you were a high school player at Lausanne, and I guess you played for Kevin LeCastro. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
All right, and off to Navy you went, never knowing you'd be returning as
yes, sir.
A cadet to play in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl.
Yes, sir. It's definitely exciting. I knew going to Navy that I would get to play in Memphis, back in Memphis 2 times, since they're on our side of the division in the conference. But I grew up going to the Liberty Bowl all the time with my dad and my little brother, and just getting the opportunity to play, and it is definitely a surreal feeling.
I think you also played in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, didn't you? In the high school classic.
The All-Star game, I actually did not. That's a funny story, but I did not. Yeah.
Well, tell us the funny story. What happened?
Well, it's not really too funny. I just didn't get selected, but.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it just added a chip on the shoulder. No, you're fine.
Fine. Man, I am really surprised at that because I've watched you play, especially this year, and I know you have played very, very well to become a starter on Ken Niumatalolo's team. What's it like playing for the Navy midshipmen? Is it what you thought it might be?
It's definitely different. Our program is very different in the West. We don't get as much talent as everybody else gets in the American Athletic Conference. But what separates us as a team is our love for each other. We really take hold of the brotherhood. That's a real thing up there. And we just surround our program by love. We base everything off of love. So when it comes down to Saturday and we're getting ready to play, we're playing for the brother to our left, the brother to our right. And that's just what makes us play so much harder than some of the other teams because we just want to get it done for each other.
And you guys have really done that. I mean, other than the loss to Memphis, which is now 17th in the country, and to Notre Dame, you beat everybody, including a pretty emphatic win in what I would be guessing is your biggest game every year, and that is against Army.
Oh, yes, sir. We needed that one bad. We were on a 3-year skid, so that's definitely a game we had circled on our calendar. The seniors, we wanted to definitely get it for them as they hadn't beaten Army yet. So just sending them out with a bang for the regular season, everybody definitely was at a peak after that one. But now we just got to reset our minds and get ready for the bowl game. But that was definitely a special one.
And you have a bunch of brothers that are from nearby. I believe there's 6 Memphis area guys on this team, right?
Yes, sir. There's a lot of us. Just to name a couple, Jacoby Rice, he went to Whitehaven. Kip Franklin went to Houston. Luke Coleman went to Briarcrest. Drew Heydrich went to Briarcrest. And I believe that's all right now. I know we have another kid at Naps right now that also went to Briarcrest. So it's definitely a good pipeline that comes through.
What is it that made you decide to go to Navy, and what were some of the other options you might have had?
I feel like Navy it was a business decision. It was just a full package as far as developing as a person, developing as a student, and developing as an athlete. I knew the military-wise, it's a great opportunity to give back to my country, to serve, and to develop as a leader. So when I become a future husband, future father, these type characteristics will pay off in the long run. And then it's a top school academic-wise, so I knew that was going to be taken care of as far as that aspect. And then it's a top 25 football program, so you really couldn't lose in any aspect when looking at the academy. And I was choosing between schools like Princeton, Yale, the Air Force Academy. So I really couldn't go wrong with any of my decisions. So it was just more of what felt best for me. And when I got up to the academy on my official visit, I just felt like I was at home.
And it is a commitment, because when you're done, how many years must you still be in the Navy before you can really join the workforce?
It's a 5-year commitment after you graduate. So you can choose between surface warfare, the Marine Corps, submarine warfare, or you can go aviation. And then there's a couple other avenues, but those are the main ones. And then you'll serve 5 years, and then you decide if you want to stay in or terminate your contract.
What do you think you're leaning toward? Which area?
Right now, I would say I'm leaning towards the Marine Corps, but I'm still open to a lot of things. But I would definitely say the Marine Corps is my number one option.
And you're just a sophomore, right? So you've still got 2 more years and one more after this one more time in Memphis to play at home in front of everybody.
I'm a junior.
Oh, you're a junior.
I'm a junior, so I have 1 more year after this.
So you this is it for you in Memphis, really, isn't it?
Yes, sir. This is probably my last go around. So I thought when we played them in the regular season, that was another chance. It's definitely going to be exciting.
Was it fun to play against this University of Memphis team? It seems like every game that Memphis has played with the Navy has just been a fantastic contest.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely exciting. Very good. A lot of talent across the board. So I knew it was going to be a challenge coming to the game. Just getting a chance to play them back in the hometown, battle with them. Definitely a heartbreaking loss. Definitely been nagging at us the whole season, but I just tipped my hat off to them. They were a great team. They played hard, so it was exciting.
What is it like every day in practice to have to go up against a running back quarterback as good as Malcolm Perry?
Man, Malcolm is definitely a special talent. I mean, I played with it was great in high school. He was probably the best running back that I've seen, that I've played with, and I thought he was special, which he is. And then you just get around Malcolm Perry, and the way he cuts, it's like you know the cut's coming. You try to defend it, and he knows you know, and he still makes it happen, which is crazy. But I say the best part about Malcolm, he's probably the most humble guy you'll ever meet. He's real quiet. He doesn't really talk too much until he gets around the guys, and he's a jokester. But as far as just his humility aspect, it's amazing. He's a special player. So
he's fun to watch, I can tell you. He made 2 years ago, I think it was 2 years ago, he made a move where he tacked through the entire Memphis. I think everybody had a shot at him.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it was up there in Annapolis.
Yeah, in Annapolis, and he went back and forth through the field, and I'm not making this up. At least 9 guys had a shot at him, and they couldn't bring him down. He looked like Gale Sayers. It was unbelievable. So, how much family have you got coming to the game?
I think I have about 30, 35 people coming to the game.
Wow.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be crazy. So, and I have people texting me every day after they're figuring it out. Because it's good. A lot of families back in town. A lot of my former teammates from high school, everybody's back in town. So they know that this is going to be one of the few chances that they'll get to see me play. So they're all trying to get out there.
And what have you learned about this Kansas State team that really was sort of a surprise to everybody this year? They were picked to finish like 9th, I think, in the Big 12, and they ended up having a terrific year with a new coach, Chris Kleiman.
Definitely a solid team. I mean, they beat Oklahoma, who's
in the college football playoffs, the only team with a loss. So, I mean, that speaks for itself. So they definitely have talent. They actually run the ball a lot more than I thought, which is, I guess, works in our favor as our run defense has played pretty well this year. Their quarterback's pretty solid. He likes to get on his legs, but he can also throw the ball. So I'm excited. It should be a good physical contest.
And they got a receiver.
So coming. Repeat that.
Have they got a receiver that you got to watch?
Yeah, their receiving core is pretty decent. The names are slipping my mind right now. But they definitely have a couple guys that can go. So definitely have my hands full a little bit. But I feel like their running back is a real special player. So
okay, when do you guys get here?
The rest of the team gets down here the 26th. I've actually been home since the 19th, so the rest of the team would get down here at 26th.
Outstanding. So you're at home doing this thing and enjoying the good weather. Well, we're happy. Great to have you back. I think most of the city, because when we're not playing Navy, we're for you. That's for sure.
Definitely, I appreciate that.
And I think most of the city will be. It's been a delight talking to you, Cam, and we wish you the best of luck on the 31st against K-State.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Cam Kinley, the very talented junior cornerback for the midshipmen from Navy, and again, 2:30 on the 31st, the AutoZone Liberty Bowl at Liberty Bowl Memorial Stadium. Should be a heck of a game, really will be. And I can't wait to see that myself. We got to take a break. When we come back, it's time for us to give some medals out as you listen to the Monday edition of Sports Time with Wolo, Stats, and Drew.
From all of us at Sports 56, we wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
This hour brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis, 2600 Ridgeway, and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Call them at 901-362-8833. Happy holidays and Merry Christmas and a happy 2020 to everyone from the great folks at Lexus of Memphis, where they're offering the December to Remember sales event. Great offers on the remaining 2019 models. You can always have special lease options, and the 2020s are rolling in. If you've ever thought I'd look great in a Lexus, well, guess what? Lexus of Memphis thinks you would look outstanding in one of those beautiful cars as well. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2020 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and driving great. Lexus of Memphis, the highest standards in the industry. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design that makes for the luxury driving experience. 362-8833 online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Hey everybody, this is Coach Penny Hardaway. There's a comfort in being home, and to me, comfort food and family makes Memphis the place to be, along with having the best basketball fans in America. I like pulling into Corky's and getting one of their family party packs. How can you go wrong with pork, beans, slaw, sauce, and buns for only $5.99 a person? It is so easy. I can call ahead, order online, or just pop in. Tailgating can't get any easier. Tell them Penny sent you.
Encore flavor, Corky's barbecue.
You have to be up in 5 hours, 2 hours, 6 minutes. And when you hear, you realize that you haven't slept a wink. That's why there's ZzzQuil Pure Z's, a drug-free blend of botanicals with an optimal dose of melatonin, so you can fall asleep naturally with no next-day grogginess. It's available in both liquid and gummies, tastes great, and is non-habit forming. Pick up ZzzQuil Pure Z's from the sleep experts at Vicks ZzzQuil. ZzzQuil Pure Z's, naturally superior sleep. Available at retailers near you.
Hi, fellas. Bill Russell at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers. And if you're a last-minute shopper, well, you're almost down to the last minute to find that perfect gift for your lady. At Russell Brothers, we make it so easy. Just drive up to our front door, walk right in, and feast your eyes on some of the very finest jewelry in the Mid-South. Deciding which piece she'll like the best is the most difficult decision, but rest assured, if you don't hit a home run with that gift, bring it back anytime within 30 days, and we'll either make her happy with something else, or you'll get your money back. No questions words, no hard feelings. That's the way we've done it for 35 years. The very finest in diamonds, rubies, sapphires, and emeralds, all set in a wide array of magnificent settings for her fingers, her neck, her wrist, or her ears. Gold, silver, or platinum, you will find what will make her smile on Christmas morning. Come see us at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers. Choose with confidence, with assurance, and choose her gift with ease. Let us help you be the best Santa Claus you can be. Russell Brothers Jewelers, 4646 Poplar at Perkins.
Pop the top on your next party. 34 North Cocktails. Available in Memphis now. Great for football grove parties, around the hunting campfire, and when you get home, entertain friends. Pop a premium can of Barrel Thief. Tastes just like an old-fashioned Barrel Thief made with aged bourbon, bitters, a hint of orange, a touch of vanilla, 15% ABV. Then, for you vodka lovers, try Sneaky Pucker, a refreshing lemonade premium vodka cocktail, 12.5% ABV. Made with super premium vodka, lavender, simple syrup, and lemonade. Delicious and smooth. Let the party begin with 34 North Cocktails.
Farmers Insurance knows that when you're in the car and that song comes on, yes, that's the one, you have no choice but to pull out your imaginary drumsticks and smash those cymbals and stomp on that kick pedal, which unfortunately is the accelerator pedal. And we covered it. Talk to a farmer's agent who knows a thing or two because they've seen a thing or two.
Call Chad Gatlin at 901-235-1176 or get a fast quote at memphisfarmers.com.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Christmas in Memphis comes early this year. Bring the family and join a group of all Memphis musicians Monday night from 6:30 to 10:30 for a Christmas in Memphis concert at Neil's Music Room on Quince. Live auctions, silent auctions, raffles, and Santa will be there, as well as pictures for the kids. Admission is $10 adults, $5 for kids. All proceeds benefit St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. It's Christmas in Memphis for family and friends by Memphis musicians Monday night at Neil's on Quince. Ho, ho, ho.
Now, back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Wolochin and Brett Norsworthy.
Somewhere, somehow, somebody must have kicked you around some.
Welcome back in. Merry Christmas, everybody. Dave Wolochin with you. Brett off. Drew with me. We're going to go to Precious Metals here in just a minute. I'll let you know this portion of the show brought to you by the Eflin Insurance Group. You know Matt by now. He is all over the place. 20 years of just making sure folks are protected throughout the Memphis market. Most of all of his experiences here, although he has opened up an office in Batesville, Arkansas. So he's pretty well versed on all kinds of different insurance, and not just here. He knows it all, and he does things in a unique way. It's a one-on-one approach. He evaluates everybody's insurance needs on an individual basis, and then when he does this, it's all kinds of insurance, not just personal insurance, business as well. So if it's a family, let's just say, he'll sit you down, check your life, check your health, check everything that you might need, what will be important to you down the road, and then you check that box and you feel pretty good about it. And then if it's business, he's going to have you forecast out 5 years, 10 years, what's the most important thing, what have you got to protect, and he finds the product, and then you're protected. It's a really good sense of feeling that you get when you know that you're secure. And that's exactly what his job is all about. If you'd like that feeling of security, here's the number, 757-2315, 757-2315. He'll give you the quotes. He'll give you that service just by calling the Eflin Insurance Group. 24/7 at the half now. Central Florida over Marshall. And the American Athletic Conference could use that win after what FAU did to SMU. No, none of us saw that coming.
I definitely didn't, especially with the Lane train pulling out of Boca.
Yeah.
They had 4 starters out for the game. SMU was a 10-win team that basically had everybody available. And I was listening to Gabe earlier, and I didn't realize how bad Boca really has been to the American. I think now the American is 0-3, and all 3 times has been beaten by like 20-plus points.
Well, Memphis got killed by Western Kentucky in that game.
Yeah, I was there, and the best thing about that trip was getting a tan in the middle of December, so that was nice, but the game itself was just terrible.
The awful, never in it. And I believe Florida Atlantic has now won it twice. And, it's a home game for Florida Atlantic. I mean, that's their ballpark. It's on their campus. You know what I thought was the coolest thing, seriously, about the Boca Bowl? I don't know. Were you there for the pep rally the night before?
Maybe. I can't really remember.
So they do it in this shopping area. It's like a
oh yes, I was there.
mall.
I was there. Yeah.
And there's a square to the strip mall, and in it they have all these trees, and they hook up this stuff and they make fake snow. I thought that was the coolest thing. I'm sitting in Boca. It's like 80 degrees and it's snowing. I love that part of it.
That was pretty
Actually, the whole setup with all that you could do, and as you said, you could get a tan, and there was plenty, you could go play golf if you were out there for a vacation. The Boca Bowl was cool, but the games itself have not been very competitive, and the American has had their hats handed to them, and mainly by CUSA teams, which is disappointing for sure. At least this time they're getting a CUSA team.
Yeah, I think all 3 times it's been against CUSA, but Mike Oresco might need to start thinking maybe we need to get out of the Boca area for the American Athletic because it's not helping.
I got news for you. You don't give up a bowl till you got another one to take its place.
That is true. Well, we got the one coming in Boston next year.
Yeah, I know.
So would that just add on to the bowls that we're associated with, or lose one? Because if you can lose one, I'd lose Boca.
Well, the point is this. You have to do the math. I think there's a connection of 6 bowls, isn't there?
Yes, but I'll double check real quick.
And you want to make sure you have as many in case you get a total allotment of as many as you can eligible. And then you have backups, right, in case it does not work out. I mean, let's face it. The Navy team is coming to the AutoZone Liberty Bowl only because the SEC didn't have enough to go around. Usually that tends to be more of the case, but you're not giving up something unless you know you've got enough to go around so that every one of your teams that gets to 6 wins is eligible to go to a bowl.
The AAC has 7 bowl games that it's affiliated with. That's the Frisco Bowl, the Cure Bowl, the Boca Raton Bowl, the Gasparilla Bowl, Hawaii Bowl, Military Bowl, and the Birmingham Bowl.
7.
Yeah.
Okay. As far as I'm concerned, at this point, despite the losing in Boca, get rid of the Birmingham Bowl till they build that new stadium. Now, when they build a new stadium, bring it on. And I'm a big Birmingham lover, but Legion Field is just a relic.
It's ultimately terrible. I did, not last year when we played Wake Forest, but when we were playing Auburn, I had a rat run across my foot in the bathroom. And I'm not talking a tiny little mouse. I'm talking a rat.
Yeah, I might feel a little differently about it had Memphis beaten Wake Forest. The Auburn game was just awful.
Auburn game was terrible.
And that was one of those games where you didn't have your head coach. And then, if you'll recall, a little different than this time, because honestly, the only 2 guys that are missing off that staff that I know of that did not make the trip with the team to Dallas are Mike Norvell and Adam Fuller. And they're going to miss those guys. They're the 2 play callers. And Adam Fuller had that defense playing incredibly well. Look, they held Cincinnati to 24 points 2 games in a row when it counted. I mean, there were a couple of games early on where you wondered a little bit, but for the most part, this team was really terrific, especially after turnovers. They didn't yield points.
And especially in the second half. I mean, Adam Fuller this year in this Tigers defense has been the best at halftime adjustments on the defensive side of the ball that I've seen, at least in the last 10 years of Tiger football. Because it seems like regardless of how well or bad they were playing in the first half, you could pretty much copy and paste it for the second half. And now everything that they do wrong in the first half is fully corrected at the end of halftime.
It is. And I'll be really interested in seeing how Kevin Clune calls this game and how this team responds. But if you'll remember, when Fuente left, half the coaches went with him. And this time that is not the case that I've seen. The only 2 that I think that are gone are the head coach and the DC, and so that should give Memphis a pretty darn good chance. In the meantime, it's time, ladies and gentlemen, for Precious Metals. I'll start with Scott Boras getting a bronze. Actually, he should get a gold because it's all about the gold. So he did 2 deals. Dallas Keuchel got a deal over the weekend, and so did Rue. The Rue deal was, I want to say that was that $85 million. Keuchel was $55 million. Those 2 deals put Scott Boras over $1 billion. He's got $1,013 million in deals done, and he did it before Christmas. He's still got a couple other guys that might come, and I was wrong. I thought they only got 3%.
How much does he get?
According to the CBS story where I read this, he gets 5%. Boras gets 5%. That's $50 million worth of deals he did between the end of baseball season and Christmas.
Big old payday. Nice Christmas bonus for him.
It's strung over, anywhere from 4 to 7 years. But $50 million, I think you can live on that.
I think you can. I don't think he's going to be counting his pennies.
Is that not incredible?
It is.
$1 billion worth of deals.
I think we went into the wrong business, Dave. We should have been sports agents.
My goodness, that actually is impressive. I got to give a bronze medal to Frank Martin in South Carolina. Not many teams go to Charlottesville, beat Virginia at Virginia, and they scored 70 points in that game. Nobody scores 70. I think Virginia gives up on average like 44 points a game. At home, they gave up 70 to Frank Martin's team, and another loss for one of those teams that could win the national title. I mean, this year is so up for grabs. That's why we now have had 6 number ones.
And I think it's better for college basketball to have that parity throughout not just the top 25, but throughout most of your Power 5, Power 6 conferences, to where every night is a battle, and you can ultimately lose against any team. And it makes the product better.
It's exciting to me, and honestly, I think we'll get even more of that once this one and done rule goes away. As now teams will come together and teamwork will be more important because one incredibly talented person that's better than everybody else can't take over a game. Coaches will have to coach better. It'll be really fun to see.
And ultimately, they'll have to recruit better. I mean, you're not looking at the guy with the most talent now as your number one guy. You're now looking at pretty much everybody that's going to play college basketball. There's still going to be levels, but they're going to be more evenly on levels. So you got to find guys that not only are good at basketball, but fit your system better.
That's it. Now, you've hit that. But they're still going to be great guys.
Oh, there will be.
There's a top 100, right? So the top 20, maybe 25 might go elsewhere, and I don't think it'll be that high. But even if it is, that means the next 75 are critically important and very skilled players.
Yeah, those are still five.
But I do think you're right. I think what becomes more important is the fit for your system as opposed to a guy who can just take over a game. I got to give a bronze medal to the Toronto Raptors. They completed a 30-point comeback against a good team, the Dallas Mavericks. It was the biggest comeback in the history of the Raptors. 30 down, they come back and they win. They get a bronze medal from me. I got to give a silver medal to Villanova. They beat Kansas, thus opening up the door for Gonzaga to be the 6th number 1 team. That was a heck of a game. Did you see any of that?
Just snipping bits and highlights, but it was a great game. I mean, like I said, parity, man. You get everybody can win.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And then I got to give a silver to Blake Anderson and the Arkansas State Red Wolves for ending the season with a win. This has been a tough year. He lost his wife right as the season began. They couldn't have been 100% when they had played SMU in that opening game. And they rallied back. And he sure seems like a gentleman, nice guy, caring about his players. There was so much love on the sideline when that bowl game of his came to a completion, and it was getting dicey there for a little bit. Florida International kept coming back, and the kid from Florida International actually missed a field goal. The guy hit a 52-yarder, and then he's got like a 24-yard chippy, and he pulls it. It would have given them a 1-point lead, and Arkansas State grabbed momentum, came down, and scored. Touchdown, went for a 2-point conversion, made it a 10-point game, and it was history. And then the love was really out there. So that was a heck of a game. And then I got to give a gold medal to the state of Texas and their high school football fans. Did you see how many showed up to Jerry's World, where we will be next weekend, for a high school football championship game?
I haven't seen the number. I'm going to guess it was at least 20.
47,000 people. 47,000 showed up for this championship game. Therefore, I give them a gold medal.
I would like to say I'm shocked for a high school game, but if you're driving to Dallas this week to go to the Cotton Bowl, just look at the stadiums around you. No, those aren't Division II stadiums. Those aren't low D1 stadiums that you're passing. You're passing high school stadiums that rival a lot of Division I program schools. I mean, it's phenomenal to look at those stadiums and go, wow. They're in the smallest little towns where there's more oil rigs than people, you feel like, in these towns, and the stadiums are just so big. So I shouldn't be that shocked.
47. They get my gold. Give me your medals.
All right. I'm going to give a bronze to Precious Achua for an almost double-double performance with the win over Jackson State. Precious finished with 20 points, 9 rebounds. Also going to give a bronze to Isaiah Maurice. I know he only had 6 points, but he did have 6 rebounds and 4 blocks in 16 minutes of work. And the reason why I give him a bronze is because he does what Isaiah Maurice is supposed to do. He doesn't foul. He might not get a lot of points, but he pulls in rebounds and he makes plays when he can. He doesn't try to force anything. So I give Isaiah a bronze for realizing his role. I'm also going to give a bronze to Roman Yossi and the Preds for their 4-3 overtime win against the Bruins in Boston on Saturday.
That. Did you see that game?
Yes.
I tuned in time to watch the overtime. And I love the way hockey does the overtime. They go to 3-on-3.
It makes it more exciting.
Well, you're seeing wide open hockey and the guys that are the fastest that can stick handle. And honestly, Nashville had one chance in that game and in that overtime, and they made it. I should say 2 because they missed one and they got a rebound off of that, and that really caused it. I don't know how Boston had at least 6 chances, and they couldn't put it in. And what was there, 2 seconds left when they won the game?
Yes, about.
It was incredible. It was a great finish.
Great game, and nice to see the Preds finally get off a skid because they started the year off terribly. I think now have won 3 of their last 5, so starting to get a little bit better. I know they went 1-1 last week because they lost against the Senators in Ottawa. Gonna give a silver to my Ravens for 11 straight wins and clinching the top seed.
Are you going to give them a rust when they play nobody next week? They're not going to play.
Why would we?
Lamar,
it doesn't mean anything. I mean, I know it's the Steelers. It's a rivalry game. If we didn't already clinch it, I would want them to play, obviously. But now that everything's clinched up, there's no reason to.
I guess
RG3 should take every snap.
Especially since the running back is injured. Ingram is hurt.
Yeah, so give him 2 full weeks to recover because we get the bye.
I actually don't blame you on this one. It's last game.
Last game doesn't really matter. I mean, if you're a Titans fan out there right now, knowing that you need the Steelers to lose and you have to win next week to get a playoff spot, I'd be a little mad at the Ravens. But being selfish, I'm going to say, nobody plays.
Okay.
Also going to give a silver to Saquon Barkley for his performance yesterday. 189 yards on the ground, 90 through the air with 2 touchdowns. And my lone goal from the weekend I'm giving it to Michael Thomas for breaking the most receptions in a year record as he got his 145th catch during the Saints win in Nashville.
Well, that combination with him and Breeze is really fun to watch. There is no doubt about that. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll give you the rusts as we've gone a little bit long. I'll let you know this portion of the show brought to you by Campbell Clinic, pediatric care for orthopedics. Nobody else except Campbell Clinic will do that for you. That's the truth. They are the only place in Memphis, and they have a team of 6 that takes care of the kids when it comes to any kind of orthopedic issue. And if you got kids in school, the odds are pretty high If they're involved in some sort of sport or even activity, it could cause them to get hurt. And when it happens, you want to trust the team, the only one of pediatric experts, 6 of them. You know what? You get hurt on a little schoolyard or on a field, doesn't your child deserve the very best when they get injured? Of course they do. And they also specialize in more than bumps and bruises. Sometimes they're complex problems like scoliosis or childhood hip pain. Yeah, here comes Campbell Clinic. They always come to the rescue and take care of us. 759-3111, 759-3111, or go online to campbellclinic.com to schedule your appointment. Back in a minute. This is Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
Search Sports 56 on Facebook and give us a like. And follow us on Twitter at Sports 56 WHBQ.
At Jason's Deli, you can stuff yourself full of great deli food that's healthy, fresh, and best of all, it's not expensive. Jason's Deli is all about choice. Whether you're looking for a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids' meals, or if you'd like to invent your sandwich via the build-your-own selections, Jason's Deli has you covered. And they only use fresh, wholesome ingredients. Choose from the club and specialty sandwiches, paninis, wraps, soups, salads, pastas, and much more. I love the cleanliness in the restaurant, the hospitality, and of course the cost. They have a huge salad bar and great soups, including Southwest chicken chili, fire roasted tortilla, organic vegetable, tomato basil, and many, many more. And if you're planning an event, their catering department is fantastic and can handle any size party. Go check out Jason's Deli's 4 locations. On Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, that's my favorite, on Germantown Parkway in Cordova, at Poplar and Highland, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch.
Mid-South Power Distributors is your source for all things diesel. Their newly renovated drive-in repair shop is open to the public. Whether it'll be your everyday driver, farm equipment, fleet vehicle, or heavy-duty truck, their ASE-certified technicians will get you back on the road. The on-site dyno is ready to run all the necessary diagnostic testing. From preventative maintenance to complete overhauls, Mid-South Power can handle it all. Stop in today at 3288 Mill Branch Road or call 901-396-0710 and online at mid-southpower.com.
Jim Gray from Westwood One with a Monday Night Football preview. Coming up, a great NFC North matchup with playoff implications from Minnesota as Kirk Cousins and the 10-4 Vikings host the division-leading Packers. At 11-3, a win would give Aaron Rodgers and the Packers their first division title in 3 years. Head coach Matt LaFleur says the wins have come thanks to unselfish play.
I think we have a bunch of guys that are going to fight for every inch out there and that are resilient and that care about each other, and they're willing to embrace their roles, no matter what that role is, in order to find a way to win football games.
Any chance for the Vikings to claim the division title begins with a home field win tonight. Kevin Harlan and Hall of Famer Kurt Warner will have the call on Monday Night Football.
Remember to listen to Westwood One's coverage of the NFL all season long, right here on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
Getting your ride ready for the road? We've got the tools you need for the job. We're talking proven tough tools, like our 180-piece Duralast Mechanics tool set. It's a conveniently portable set of sockets, wrenches, and more that's guaranteed for life, so you'll be getting jobs done for the years to come. And you can reward yourself for all those jobs by joining our free AutoZone Rewards program. Members get a $20 reward every time they spend $20 or more 5 times. Visit AutoZone.com today. See terms at AutoZone.com/rewards. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Hey, this is Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans. Quicken Loans is celebrating our best quarter ever, and now we're celebrating some of the lowest refinancing rates ever. Rates have dropped so much that many Americans can reduce their rate. You may be able to save money on your monthly mortgage payment right now. The rate today on our 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.99%, APR 4.18%. Call us at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Rates subject to change. Pay 1.375% fee to receive this discounted rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Pop the top on your next party. 34 North Cocktails. Available in Memphis now. Great for football grove parties, around the hunting campfire, and when you get home, entertain friends. Pop a premium can of Barrel Thief. Tastes just like an old-fashioned Barrel Thief made with aged bourbon, bitters, a hint of orange, a touch of vanilla, 15% ABV. Then, for you vodka lovers, try Sneaky Pucker, a refreshing lemonade premium vodka cocktail, 12.5% ABV. Made with super premium vodka, lavender, simple syrup, and lemonade. Delicious and smooth. Let the party begin with 34 North Cocktails.
First Bank is here to help you, whether you're a business looking for a loan to expand or refinance an existing one, a homeowner looking for a mortgage or home equity line, a consumer wanting to finance your dream car, or wanting a competitive rate on your CD deposits. Let First Bank try to handle your banking needs. Stop into one of First Bank's 3 local branches today, 6482 Poplar Avenue, just east of International Paper, 8398 Highway 64 across from Wolf Chase, and 6280 Highway 64 in Oakland. Or check them out online at firstbankonline.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Now, back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
We like to party.
Once again, Brett off. We'll talk to him on Thursday. In the meantime, we are racing through our medals. Time for some rust. This one just came in. Free agent pitcher Rich Hill and his wife were arrested and fined over an altercation with police at Saturday's Buffalo Bill New England Patriots game in Boston, or actually in Foxborough. Caitlin Hill, his wife, apparently tried to enter Gillette Stadium with an oversized bag. Foxborough Police Chief Administrator Robert Bolger told the paper she was arrested on disorderly conduct and trespassing charges after she refused to leave the area when ordered by police. Rich Hill was then arrested and charged with disorderly conduct and a resisting arrest after he tried to stop police from putting Caitlin Hill into the police vehicle. He saw her. They were trying to get her into the van to bring to the police station, and he started to interfere with the officers. Bolger told the Globe. He was told several times to back up. He would not. He ended up getting busted too.
There wasn't one brain cell between the two of them that day. I mean, goodness gracious.
Incredible.
People.
All over an oversized bag.
How many times do you think she said, "Do you know who I am"?
I have no idea.
I'm going to put the over under at 10.
That's pretty stupid. Absolutely. And then my final rust goes to the Lakers. They've lost 3 in a row now as they head into the showdown on Christmas Day with the LA Clippers, who've already beaten them once this year. I got a feeling that's going to be 4 in a row for the Lakers, who were once 26-3, spiraling down. I think the Clippers are the best in the West.
I agree with you. You done? Is that your last rust?
That's it.
All right. Going to give a rust to Isaiah Thomas and the fans of Philly for what happened over the weekend. All over the loss of a free Frosty from Wendy's. Honestly, both parties were at fault to somewhat over the weekend. One, fans, they need to act like adults and not act so immaturely over Frosty. I remember the Tigers actually used to do this promotion. I think it stopped after last year. And some people would get upset about it. It's all in good fun, but I never heard anybody at FedEx Forum ever cuss at a player multiple times and give him double birds for making a free throw because they didn't get a free Frosty. And on Isaiah Thomas's part, I thought he handled it well for how badly the situation could have ended, but he knows that as an NBA player, you just can't go into the stands. That's just asking for something to happen. While that wasn't his intent for anything to happen, he just wanted to talk to the guy and basically tell him to act your age and be more mature about it. You still just can't go in the stands. So I've got to give him and the fan both a rust. In my last rust, I'm going to give a rust to Major League Baseball for even considering the idea of having a computer umpire calling balls and strikes in the MLB within the next 5 years. This is ridiculous to me because I don't understand. Baseball is the worst at this, always trying to fix a product that's not broken. People say baseball is dead, but the numbers show that it's not. People still like baseball, and they like it how it is, and I'm one of those people. Don't change it just to change it.
I'm with you. I'm not for the home plate umpire to be a computer. I like people. And I think for the most part, even if you're looking at that box, which isn't necessarily always right either, but if you are, they're right 95% of the time. These guys are doing a good job.
And the most times when they're wrong, it's like half a ball.
It's crazy stuff. This portion of the show brought to you by the commissary, Germantown Commissary. No Walker Taylor wants to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a thank you. I know they went crazy over the weekend. They got all those 36 birds in, all the hams in. I don't know if you can get any more. Maybe too late to order. Think about it for next year, Thanksgiving or Christmas. Nobody does it like the commissary. And, there's two. The original Germantown commissary, of which I think my family and I are going to go to over the holiday period and enjoy. And then there is the Collierville commissary. That's the newest one with the drive-through. I'll bet business was very brisk picking up those 36-hour birds when you can just drive through and make it so easy. The commissary is right at Houston Levee Road and Poplar Avenue, triple the size of the one in Germantown. Go see what I'm talking about. Same old food that you've always loved. It is same old pulled shoulder or ribs or deviled eggs, whatever you love, they've got it at both the commissaries, the Germantown commissary and the Collierville commissary. 1 hour in the books, 2 more to come. We'll chat Grizz with David Cobb next. This is Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
Hi, I'm Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. If you need a roof for your home or business, we hope to hear from you and we will work hard to earn your business. We are experts and certified in residential and commercial roofing, siding, and gutter installation. We have been serving the Memphis area for over 20 years, and now with 2 of my sons working with me, we plan to be here for many years to come. So if you need a roof, please give us a call. On a personal note, what a great time to be a Memphis sports fan. With the Grizzlies' new look, the Redbirds, the 901 FC, and the Tigers football and basketball teams, it's going to be a fun year. Thank you to Coach Norvell, Coach Hardaway, and their staffs for your dedication to your student athletes, the University of Memphis, and to fans like me who have waited forever to have both the football and basketball teams ranked at the same time. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical, 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Wrap your gifts with love this holiday season and support the kids of St. Jude by purchasing a handmade movie bow for only $1 each. Available from Thanksgiving through Christmas Day at all Malco locations. Happy holidays from Malco Theaters. Heater trouble? Make your first call your last call. Call Air Doctors of Memphis, 901-598-HVAC. Owner Matt Davis is a third-generation full-service air conditioning and heating specialist. Air Doctors of Memphis services all major brands, and labor and parts are guaranteed 100%. Their special winter price for a heater tune-up is just $59, and 24-hour service is billed at normal rates. Your comfort is their highest priority. Contact airdoctorsofmemphis.com or call 901-598-HVAC.
Pop the top on your next party. 34 North Cocktails. Available in Memphis now. Great for football grove parties, around the hunting campfire, and when you get home, entertain friends. Pop a premium can of Barrel Thief. Tastes just like an old-fashioned Barrel Thief made with aged bourbon, bitters, a hint of orange, a touch of vanilla, 15% ABV. Then, for you vodka lovers, try Sneaky Pucker, a refreshing lemonade premium vodka cocktail, 12.5% ABV. Made with super premium vodka, lavender, simple syrup, and lemonade. Delicious and smooth. Let the party begin with 34 North Cocktails.
It's game on at the new Moneyline Book Bar and Grill inside the Gold Strike Casino Resort. Now you can bet on all of your favorite sports and watch the games on 60 HD TVs while you lounge in plush seating and enjoy craft beers, signature cocktails, and great food. Plus, don't miss the Topgolf Swing Suite, a virtual reality experience with a variety of fun interactive games every sports fan will love. Visit the Moneyline Bar, Book, and Grill at Gold Strike Casino Resort for Monday Night Football happy hour specials. Or anytime you want a piece of the best sports action in Mississippi.
Christmas in Memphis comes early this year. Bring the family and join a group of all Memphis musicians Monday night from 6:30 to 10:30 for a Christmas in Memphis concert at Neil's Music Room on Quince. Live auctions, silent auctions, raffles, and Santa will be there, as well as pictures for the kids. Admission is $10 adults, $5 for kids. All proceeds benefit St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. It's Christmas in Memphis for family and friends by Memphis musicians Monday night at Neil's on Quince. Ho, ho, ho.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, more of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome in. Merry Christmas, one and all. Hour number 2 on this Monday, day before Christmas Eve, the day that the University of Memphis is in the poll in the top 10, moving up to number 9, highest they have been since 2011. So it has been a while that the Tigers were able to inch their way up like this. Hopefully they stay up there a lot longer than they did a year ago. I think they will. I don't think there's going to be any problem with a New Orleans team on Saturday that is not exactly a killer. I think they're 4-7, and then they're going to play their first conference game on the 30th, and that will be against the Green Wave of Tulane. It will be the return of K.J. Lawson. 31-14. UCF just actually surrendered a touchdown to Marshall. 9.5 to go. Third quarter at the Bad Boy Mowers Gasparilla Bowl. So UCF had jumped to that 31-7 lead. Now it is 31-14. Meantime, tonight the Grizzlies will play against the San Antonio Spurs. Man, this does not seem like an old Memphis and San Antonio sort of matchup. The Grizz come in 11-19. The Spurs, the mighty Spurs, 11-17. Of course, both are really not that far from playoff position. David Cobb, the beat writer for the Grizzlies in the Commercial Appeal, as he does every Monday, joins us now. Merry Christmas to you. I know you're looking forward to this game tonight at home, and then maybe you get a chance to spend a little time with family.
Yeah, man, absolutely. You're right. It's weird. These Spurs are not the Spurs of old. The Grizzlies already got them once on the road this season. And I do think we'd be silly to count them out, though, because this time last year, the Spurs were off to a rough start. They ended up turning it around and making the playoffs. With the bottom half of the West, or at least the bottom couple of seeds in the West being up for grabs, I still think they've got a shot to turn it around.
I was during the break, I was just looking at the Western Conference, and I used to think, you look at that East and you go, there's 4 or 5 teams, and then there's going to be playoff teams under 500. There are only 6 teams in the West that are 500 or better. Oak City is the 6th at even 500, 14-14. Portland is 2 games under 500. And they are the 7th seed. Phoenix is 5 games under 500. Believe it or not, that is the 8th seed. You look at Memphis, and they're 8 games under 500. You're really only a game and a half away from making the playoffs.
It's crazy, man, how the West is shaping up so far, because it's so top-half dominant. I mean, the top teams in the West have won so many games, and I know the Lakers are on a little bit of a slide right now, but it's having that effect that we also see in the East, where there just aren't enough wins to go around for the rest of the team. So, there were a couple of days there where you felt like these Grizzlies, wow, in the right direction. The West looks like it's up for grabs. And then they go and they lose at Oklahoma City, a game they were leading by 24. And they go and they lose at Cleveland, which is a really bad team. So, as far as the Grizzlies are concerned, I'm going to avoid the prognostication and the predictions about their candidacy for the playoffs. But you never say never, because it's still early enough for things to change. Like I'm saying with the Spurs, they don't look good. But given their track record and given the way the West is, I wouldn't count them out. And so I think things will kind of correct over time. And, maybe I'd still be surprised if a sub-500 team gets in out of the West. But if the Lakers and the Clippers and really the teams from the East continue to be, so top-heavy, it's possible. It's possible that the AFC in the West could be a 39-43 or a 40-42 type team.
It could be. I've seen that happen with the East, and it looks like the West is becoming that sort of deal where Houston and the Clippers and the Lakers have won a lot of games, and everybody else is sort of middling. I guess we could put Dallas in there, although Dallas lost that 30-point lead. Wow. The Raptors came from 30 down in that game yesterday.
Yeah, that's unreal. It's like no lead is safe in the NBA. Now with how many threes teams shoot. If you think about it, in a lot of situations, you would say, it's a 4-possession game, or it's a 3-possession game, or what have you. And that's dependent. Even that seems like a stretch, maybe in the old days, because it's entirely dependent on you knocking down threes every time, for it to be a 3-possession game or whatever, even a 2-possession game late in the game. Well, now it's like really not out of the question that a team can rattle off, 3 3-pointers in under a minute. And that's the reason why you see these crazy comebacks. I don't know exactly how many threes they hit in that comeback last night, but Toronto's got some guys that can really shoot it, and that's all you need. And it's unique to the NBA with the shorter shot clock. That plays a big difference too. If you watch a college game, there's 3 minutes left in the college game, and a team has a double-digit lead. It's almost not, in most circumstances, game over. Of course, there are exceptions to that, but in the NBA, you don't really feel safe with a lead unless it's double digits with under a minute left. And that's just a fact of life in the NBA now with the way teams shoot the ball.
Well, the other aspect of that is entry at half court. You take that timeout, and the women are actually doing that. You get 2 in the last 2 minutes of a game, and it does allow for comebacks. But even with all those advantages that you just mentioned, that was the first 30-point comeback in the NBA in 10 years. Sacramento came back on Chicago in 2009. So those things don't happen all the time. That is for sure. All right, I got a toughie here for you. High hard one, as Stats likes to call him. I'd like for you to sort of rate in importance the roster of this team, at least the first 10 guys, let's say. And I got one guy that I would rank high, even though he hasn't shot as well as some would like. He does so many other things so well for the Grizzlies. I'll be curious to where you put him. But I'm guessing Ja's your number one guy. He's certainly been the biggest surprise, and he's the leading candidate for Rookie of the Year. If you agree with that, that's great. And how would you go after that?
He's won them games.
Yeah.
He's won them games. That's unbelievable for a rookie point guard to have won them basketball games. They would be 8-22 without Ja. It might be 7-23 without Ja. He's gone out and he's performed in the fourth quarter. So he's my number one. Number two, I think you still got to say Jaren. I know, he's had an up and down second season, but he's trending up. He's by most metrics, the second most productive player on the team, and in terms of the future outlook, critically important. And then 3, it kind of depends on which approach you're taking. If you're looking at just this year's team, I think Jonas Valanciunas, third most important. If you're looking at the future as a whole,
I'm talking about right now, and because they do want to make sort of a point about the playoffs and the possibilities of those. When you've played 30 games, so you've played.
Yeah. I think Valanciunas. I think he's critical to this team's sort of being a middle, at least a middle of the road team. I think without him, they're not. I think without him, you could even make the case that he's 2. Ahead of Jaren on this year's team. Because of what he provides, the unique skill set that he brings, and I know that would be one that I think is probably controversial. That people would probably disagree with me on that, but he can just sustain them through stretches when shots aren't falling, when things aren't going their way, in a way that no other player on that roster can. So Jonas, to me, for this team, I might even say 2, and put Jaren 3.
I would keep Jaren at 2, especially the way he's playing now. So I would go 1, 2, and then Valanciunas 3. I would agree with that. Who's 4?
Yeah, 4. That's a tougher one. I'm going to say Dylan Brooks because the numbers don't lie. When he goes for 20, they win, and he's a starting shooting guard. And when your starting shooting guard goes for 20, you win every time. It must mean you're a pretty important player. So Dylan Brooks is my number 4.
Okay, and then 5?
Yeah, I'll say Brandon Clark. I think he's helped them win some games too, and he provides a unique skill set. It's sort of like Jonas. There's just nobody else that can replicate or fill the role that he fills. And even though he comes off the bench, he's my 5th most important player.
I think especially now they're playing him with Ja together, that could be the case. I would argue here where after Dylan, I think I'd put in Jay Crowder. I don't think Jay Crowder gets his due. He does.
I wondered if that's who you were talking about.
Well,
I thought you were him or Kyle Anderson.
he does so many little things so beautifully for you, the least of which is defense. I mean, Memphis does not beat Miami the other night if Jay Crowder doesn't absolutely take Jimmy Butler out of the game. And he's a steadying, calming influence for this team. I think behind the scenes, he's been a leader. I would put him right after Dylan Brooks at 5.
Okay, that's fair. So I've got Clark at 5. I'm going to go 6. I'm not even going Crowder yet.
Oh, whoa! You're killing me.
I'm going to say Kyle Anderson at 6.
Okay.
I know that his role has not been steady, his shot has not been great, but there have been games where his passing has ignited some pretty serious runs for the Grizzlies, and there's games where you don't feel like he does a lot, but then there's games where he comes in and he does all the little things. And because of his versatility, I think he's number 6, and I think he's a guy that's probably going to be on this team for longer than some of these other players. So I think Kyle Anderson by 6, and I'll say Crowder 7. I have not been on Crowder as some other people, although I will say the physicality of his perimeter defense is unique on this Grizzlies team. Like you were saying, his defense on Butler was huge the other night. There is no other perimeter defender who is as physical with opposing players as Jay Crowder is. So for me, that's his primary attraction. I think he shoots too much. I don't think he's shooting that well. And considering that that's sort of his calling card, it's hard for me to have him as a top 5 player right now. But I'll give him 7 because of his perimeter defense.
Okay. And where do you go with 8?
Yeah, it's kind of a toss-up when you get into that range because the rotation is in so much in flux. I mean, you would like to think that Tyus Jones could be brought up by this point, but the way things are now, I would actually say DeAnthony Melton at 8 because he's just a stat sheet stuffer, a guy who in a limited time has proven his worth and proven that he is an NBA player. And so for that, I will give Melton the 8th spot. But, man, I feel bad about not having said Solomon Hill yet. I guess I'll give Solomon Hill 9 and would round it out with Tyus Jones probably at 10. And, I mean, that pretty much is. There's been 11 guys. We're missing somebody who's been in the rotation here, at least to a certain extent. I guess that would be Grayson Allen.
Grayson Allen would be the guy.
Yeah.
And actually, I think when he's been healthy, he has played better than Tyus Jones. And in fact, in the beginning of the year, I might have put Tyus Jones as the guy I expected to be 6 or 7. And honestly, I think of all the players, and I don't know what's happened, but I think he's the biggest disappointment. This guy was a great college player, although it was a short career, but he was a great college player. I saw a huge upside. I thought there was a real chance he would blossom here with this system the way it is. And he's had moments where he's just looked lost. Now, he's had a couple of good moments, too. I think in the last game he had a couple of big threes. But he's been a disappointment.
I'm optimistic that he's turning a corner, but you're right that to this point he has been disappointing. Over the last 8, the Grizzlies PR put this stat out the other night. He's up to like 41 assists and 2 turnovers over his last 8 games or something, which is obviously a tremendous trend. That's why you brought him here, because the Grizzlies are one of the worst teams in terms of turnovers in the league. Your hope was that Tyus Jones would come in as a backup point guard and eliminate that. For the first quarter of the season, he really didn't. Now over these last 8, he's been a lot better in that regard. He still doesn't look completely in sync always with the units that are out there, but I guess we could be seeing that, start to improve or increase. And so, he's pretty far down there for me right now, but I guess there's some cautious optimism on my part that he's maybe starting to develop into that sort of rock solid backup steady hand that you wanted at point guard. The problem, I think, with that signing, Dave, is that you spent a lot of money. You spent 3 years and $26 million roughly on Tyus Jones, and you probably didn't realize that John Morant was going to be as good as he is when you made that investment, because you were thinking that this would be, a rookie point guard who would really need that steady veteran to kind of help him out and show him the ropes. And Josh has been so unique in his talent and how ready he is that maybe they overpaid a little bit for what's something they didn't actually ultimately need as badly as they thought they did.
Well, you do need two guards, 2-point guards, in this league in this day and age, especially as much as you run. So I could understand that. Now maybe Melton can fit that bill for you. The one thing that there's a lot to Melton that I like, but he turns the ball over a bit now.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. He does turn the ball over a decent amount. I don't always love his shot selection. He takes some kind of weird mid-range shots. I guess with Melton, it's the defense and the rebounding that kind of stick out to me because as a 6'3" guy, you sort of in your mind have these limitations on what he can do, and he seems to kind of be above and beyond those limitations that you might expect for a guy of his size.
Well, he's got
that's due to
wingspan, man.
Yeah,
that's what really the first thing I noticed about him in person was how long that wingspan was. Can you imagine if Brandon Clark had his wingspan? My goodness,
unbelievable! Oh my gosh, man, Brandon Clark might be he would be unreal. I mean, with that sort of wingspan. So, he's another one of the examples of the Grizzlies just having sort of some unorthodox players on their roster, and I mean, this is a good thing. I think it takes opponents a while to adjust when they're playing the Grizzlies because you've got Kyle Anderson, the slow-mo guy who makes these strange, like literally slow-motion Euro steps. It's hard to guard that in transition. You don't really know what to do. But you got Brandon Clark, who is the polar opposite, a springy guy who just pops up with a floater out of nowhere, or he just jumps over you and dunks on you in a way that I think is really unique in the NBA. And then you got, guys like Jaren, who's 6'11", is becoming less unique, but you're still not used to the 6'11" guy just running around off of screens like he's Steph Curry. There's just a number of players on this Grizzlies roster that I think are hard for opposing teams to prepare for. And I think that's why they're really actually having a pretty good offensive year. I mean, they're third in the league in assists per game. Over their last 8 or 10, they're shooting the ball at a really, really high clip. Just a lot of guys are well above their career averages in three-point shooting, which I think is a testament to their ability to get in the lane and kick the ball out. I mean, on the whole, I'm impressed with the pieces on this Grizzlies offense. A month or two after a pretty bad start, they've kind of reached an equilibrium that I think is impressive for a new team under a new coach. There's just a lot of guys that are kind of, I think, putting on display what they're capable of.
Are you changing your mind at all about Grayson Allen? Because you were really down on him early in the year.
Yeah, to his credit, he's come back from injuries twice now, playing really, really well. So he gets injured the first time after just 5 or 6 games, and he wasn't playing well. You wonder if he's even going to have a spot in the rotation when he comes back. And he played phenomenally after he came back from the first ankle injury. Then he goes down with another one. Melton starts cementing his place in the rotation. They're healthy otherwise. And again, you're like, all right, is there a spot for Grayson Allen in this rotation? He comes back and he picks up right where he left off. So, yeah, I've been impressed. The thing that's been most impressive about him is the defensive metrics are there for him in a way that they were not as a rookie in Utah. I mean, you watch the guy for 5 minutes on the floor, you start to realize pretty quickly that he can score from all 3 levels offensively. He can get into the paint, get to the cup, he can pull up in the mid-range, and he can shoot the 3. But the thing that was going to be an issue for him in Utah was the defense. I mean, he was far and away their worst player in terms of defensive rating last season, and he hasn't been that way with the Grizzlies. He's been able to stay in front of perimeter players defensively, and I think to me, that has keyed this little bit of a surge that we've seen from him, because I think the coaching staff trusts him to be on the floor, and therefore I think he feels free to play his game. And I think a lot of that offense that you're seeing is a credit to the fact that he's built some trust from the staff and some confidence in himself on the defensive side.
All right, last thing for you today, and I know you're getting ready to go to FedEx Forum to watch the Grizzlies and the Spurs tonight, and that's Josh Jackson. I guess I ask you every week. Maybe in January when the 10-day contracts come out, will we see Josh get one shot at all with this team, or do they just like the chemistry as is and don't want him around? What is the real story here?
Well, I think they were probably talking to some teams or trying to talk to some teams over this last week at the G League Winter Showcase in Las Vegas. It's this week event where, every G League team is there. They play a ton of games. I think you just look at Josh Jackson's numbers. I didn't see him play a lot, but you can see, he had a couple of games, 18 shot attempts, 19 shot attempts. First glance at those box scores, my thought is he's trying to force it a little bit to show some of these NBA teams what he can do. I don't know that he's going to get a shot with the Grizzlies anytime soon. With the Grizzlies being as healthy as they are right now, obviously that can change. But we saw it when they went on that 4-game road trip this month. They were pretty down on bodies there at the beginning of it, and Yuta Watanabe was the G League call-up, not Josh Jackson. And so, to me, that kind of said it all. Then Josh Jackson had his slip up. I think more likely than him playing for the Grizzlies is that he gets traded. And I don't know exactly what all those conversations were at the G League Winter Showcase out in Vegas, but from the Grizzlies side, I got to think a lot of them centered on Josh Jackson and maybe how well he's played in the G League or what have you. I just don't know that I see him being a part of this team. But I think he's been good enough that there's got to be at least a few other NBA teams who would be willing to take a chance on him. And I think that's probably the best case scenario for both sides.
He is David Cobb, beat writer for the Commercial Appeal of the Memphis Grizzlies. Merry Christmas to you and your family, and Happy New Year as well. And we will talk with you in 2020.
Thanks, Wolo.
There he is. Our guy, David Cobb. Brought to you in part by Supercuts. I hope you got in for the holidays. I hope you look good. Hope you look spiffy. Hope you went there. You start, very first thing you do, if you don't know already, very first thing you do is you go to sportsclips.com. You find the shop that is closest to you. There's 15 of them now. There's going to be one that's close. Then you walk through the door and you ask a hairdresser, do you know about this cut? And they'll go, yes. Because details matter at Sports Cuts. At Supercuts, it's all about keeping up. They're pros. That's what they do. And then, of course, every haircut ends with the hot towel finish. That leaves you invigorated and relaxed at the same time. And you know what? You always walk out looking good, and that makes you feel good. So, feel good for the holidays. Go see my friends at Supercuts. This is the craziest game at the Bad Boy Mowers Gasparilla Bowl. They have scored 4 touchdowns in the first 7.5 minutes of this third quarter. Each team has scored in each possession, and UCF now leads it, I think it's 45-21. What a game. We are back in a minute. This is Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
Get happy with Johnny Radio's Happy Hour. Weekday afternoons from 1 till 3 on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
There's a new commissary in town in Collierville. Germantown Commissary is doubling. Yeah, they're still going to have the old Germantown Commissary by the tracks, but now there's a huge new Germantown Commissary in Collierville at Poplar and Houston Levy Road. It's huge, too. There's a drive-through. There's plenty of parking. No telephone pole to get in your way. A cool patio. It's right by the track, so the tradition continues. And this is a tradition that's been around forever. That commissary is famous for hickory-smoked, slow-cooked Memphis-style barbecue. They've got a private party room at the new one in Collierville. Self-catering still continues. Party packs for $5.95. Basically, the great ribs, the great pulled shoulder, the great deviled eggs. Everything is there in Collierville and Germantown now. So there is now a Germantown and Collierville style of barbecue. It's called Germantown Commissary.
You have to be up in 5 hours, 2 hours, 6 minutes. And when you hear, you realize that you haven't slept a wink. That's why there's ZzzQuil Pure Z's, a drug-free blend of botanicals with an optimal dose of melatonin, so you can fall asleep naturally with no next-day grogginess. It's available in both liquid and gummies, tastes great, and is non-habit forming. Pick up ZzzQuil Pure Z's from the sleep experts at Vicks ZzzQuil. ZzzQuil Pure Z's, naturally superior sleep. Available at retailers near you.
The Season of Performance event is going on now at Acura of Memphis. Choose from a large selection of Acura of Memphis's entire lineup. The Acura TLX with premium tech and exceptional performance. Or drive the 3-row, 7-passenger SUV, the Acura MDX. Or Acura of Memphis' top-selling luxury crossover, the Acura RDX. Stop in and take advantage of special year-end pricing as well as incredible lease and financing options. Visit AcuraofMemphis.com.
With Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner, Kevin Harlan here from Westwood One with a preview of Monday Night Football. The final Monday night primetime game of the season, an NFC North battle. It's the Vikings and the Packers, and Kurt with a lot of division consequences on the line.
No doubt about it, Kevin. These are the games you love at the end of the season. Going to be a playoff-type atmosphere, playing for a division title, and two really good football teams. A Packers team that is balanced across the board, can beat you a lot of different ways. And I would say the same thing about the Minnesota Vikings. But really, this is about Minnesota showing that in big-time moments, they can show up big time and beat good football teams.
Packers 11-3, Vikings 10-4, Green Bay and Minnesota coming up on Monday Night Football.
Remember to listen to Westwood One's coverage of the NFL all season long, right here on Real Sports Talk, Sports 50.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans. 30% of Americans who are planning home improvements of $5,000 or more will pay for those renovations with a high-interest credit card. That may not be a great idea. A better idea may be to take cash out of your home with a Quicken Loans 30-year fixed-rate mortgage. The rate today on our 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.99%, APR 4.18%. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
Rates subject to change. Pay 1.375% fee to receive this discounted rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. License in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Getting your ride ready for the road? We've got the tools you need for the job. We're talking proven tough tools, like our 180-piece Duralast Mechanics tool set. It's a conveniently portable set of sockets, wrenches, and more that's guaranteed for life, so you'll be getting jobs done for the years to come. And you can reward yourself for all those jobs by joining our free AutoZone Rewards program. Members get a $20 reward every time they spend $20 or more 5 times. Visit AutoZone.com today. See terms at AutoZone.com/rewards. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Christmas in Memphis comes early this year. Bring the family and join a group of all Memphis musicians Monday night from 6:30 to 10:30 for a Christmas in Memphis concert at Neil's Music Room on Quince. Live auctions, silent auctions, raffles, and Santa will be there, as well as pictures for the kids. Admission is $10 adults, $5 for kids. All proceeds benefit St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. It's Christmas in Memphis for family and friends by Memphis musicians Monday night at Neil's on Quince. Ho, ho, ho.
Now, more of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Merry Christmas, one and all. Nice to have you aboard. Santa will arrive tomorrow night. I know for my man John Thompson, this is a sad day for me. Very sad. It's the last time in the year 2019 and really for this whole season that John's going to join us. So this is his final appearance for the year. But I know one thing, John. You would not want to be coaching in this Gasparilla Bad Boy Mowers Bowl. Have you watched any of this game today by any chance?
I just had a little bit of it on just then. Sure, it is going up and down the field, isn't it?
There's not been a stop in the third quarter. They've just marched down 4 touchdowns.
Unbelievable.
With big plays all over the place. What?
They are so hard to gauge. I mean, who's going to show up? Who's motivated? Who's playing? Who's not playing? It's really hard to judge which team is really going to show up with these different games. It's discouraging a little bit.
Well,
and I'm not saying it looks like both of these teams are ready, but
they're both our offenses
a couple
are.
Of teams already that hadn't happened.
I've seen more missed tackles in this game than I may have seen a whole season. It's awful, and you sort of had that same sort of thing in the Boca Bowl where SMU and FAU were going at it. This is Lane Kiffin's team, right? He leaves. I've watched where a football team just doesn't come to play when their head coach leaves, and I certainly hope that that is not the case. And I don't think it will be at the Cotton Bowl because the guy who's going to become the head coach is already in place, and everybody except for two guys, the head coach and the DC, is gone. And but normally, like if I'm trying to pick these games, I would go against Florida Atlantic. They lost their guy, and look what they did to SMU. At one time, SMU, was a top 15 team.
I know it. That surprised me. I thought SMU would roll in that one, but I mean, my goodness, my man Glenn Spencer had him going. He was the interim coach. These interim coaches are doing a good job. It's a chance for them and to do something special. I was an interim a couple of times, and if you can get the team to have a good time, to enjoy where they are, and to have a focus and have a purpose, you got a chance. But if you got guys that are thinking about other things or disappointed where they are, it's hard to rally that team. But I don't know. I don't understand why SMU did not come out and play as well as they did. I mean,
I'm with you.
Maybe it was all FAU. Give them the credit instead of downing on SMU. I tell you what, but the Tigers, I really like the Tigers helmet. I really like it. I'm sure it's back and forth, but I like the Tigers helmet.
Tell me what you think seriously will happen in that game, because you just said you've been in the interim and you've seen where some guys were happy about being there and they really come out and they play incredibly hard and focused, and others are not. They thought, and maybe Penn State feels like they should have been in the Rose Bowl and not in this game against a team that is not a Power 5 team. And I don't really know, and I'll get a little better sense. Jack Ham is going to join me in about a half hour. But do you think that is a plus for Memphis, that Penn State may be overlooking them?
Well, I don't think Memphis can look at it like that, Dave. I think Memphis has to look at this like you and I would look at it. And I think like everybody involved with Memphis and their players and their coaches will look at it. They got to take care of their business. Memphis is a good football team, and they're playing in the daggum Cotton Bowl.
I know.
I mean, that's the Cotton Bowl. You and I grew up watching the Cotton Bowl, and that's a big, big game. I was in that game, in the Cotton Bowl. My favorite bowl game, they will be treated so well. You get gifts in your room every night. There's so many good things that go. Memphis is going to be, they'll be very, very excited, motivated, and together and playing well. I don't think they can worry about what Penn State's going to do.
Of all the bowls,
that's James Franklin's problem, but don't worry about that. You come in there and dent their face mask the first couple of plays and open up that offense and play good on the line of scrimmage like Memphis has played all year long. Then Penn State may say, I'm ready to get back home, or they'll buckle under and just give in. But I think Memphis. I like Memphis in this game. I like Memphis's attitude. I like where they are, and it's a big deal for Memphis. It should be a big deal for Penn State, but who knows? I mean, I don't know anything about their team. I've watched Memphis all year long, and it's a team that doesn't quit. It's a team that might fall behind, might give up some big plays, but they don't give in. They got a lot of confidence and playing well, and they got every aspect of the game: quarterback, lines of scrimmage, running game, pass defense. I think they can do it all.
Of all the bowl games you were in, did you just say you liked the Cotton Bowl the best?
No question about
it.
No, and part of it was, growing up, and the Cotton Bowl was such a big game, and living in Northeast Arkansas and the Southwest Conference, champion, going to that game. But the people treat you so good there that the hospitality at the Cotton Bowl was the best. I went to 10 different bowl games. That was the very best. And they treat the players right. They treat the coaches right. It was just, it was a big deal, man. It was a big deal to be a part of that game and a part of that tradition. It was my favorite at the time, and it's still, if I had one pick. I didn't go to. I never went to the Rose Bowl or anything like that. But of all the bowls that I was fortunate enough to go to, yeah, Cotton was by far my favorite.
Wow. And a present every night in your room. I like that part.
Come back and you got, good presents too. Really good presents. And then during the year, I don't think the players did this, but all the coaching staff, you get a gift once a month. I mean, you get a box of cookies or you get something once a month for a year. That was pretty cool. Like that.
Me
That
too.
was a lot of fun.
Wow. I don't think they do that for the press, unfortunately.
Try to hide those gifts and coming in and act like I would give them to Charlene and say, "Look what I got you." And she would look on the deal and say, "From the Rose Bowl."
She never bought that one. She never. She's too smart for that. I know that for sure. What are the other than the playoffs? And we know those are the big days, and that's a week from a couple of heck. It's this Saturday. My goodness, how time flies. And the playoffs are big. But is there any other bowl game that you're really kind of ready for and turned on and anxious to see?
Yeah, you know what? I think Georgia and Baylor is going to be a very interesting game. I mean, Georgia got embarrassed last year by Texas, with Texas is back, and Texas wasn't back, and now Georgia's in that same situation again in the Sugar Bowl against Baylor, and Baylor is kind of like Memphis. I mean, that's one of these teams that, they're playing in the Sugar Bowl. I mean, that's you compare that to the Cotton Bowl. So I'm interested in seeing that. Georgia's got a couple of offensive linemen out. Who knows if Swift, the running back, is going to play? And there's and living around here, living in Atlanta, obviously, I hear a lot about Georgia. But I mean, they were tabbed as a possible playoff contender. And Baylor is a very good team and possibly the best coaching job. I mean, you got to say Ed Orgeron did it also, but you got to take Matt Rule. Matt Rule did a tremendous job, and what he's taken from. I mean, the program was dead. I mean, and had a lot of stink on it, and now they're an excellent football team, great program, great coaching job by Matt Rule.
And how about your guy, Eddie O? How about AP Coach of the Year? AP Coach of the Year.
He had the Tigers playing well. He had that Joe Burrow, and they brought in that Joe Brady and Steve Smith, and they did a tremendous job on both sides of a lot of scrimmage, and they played good. Dave Aranda, one of the best coaches in America, and we played good. We're going to be ready. We're going to bring it. Go Tigers.
That's as good as I've heard. Although, Coach O, you've lost maybe your running back for this game. Edwards-Helaire out, maybe? What's wrong?
Yeah, maybe. I think there's some smoke involved in that. Maybe. We'll see what God's going to do. We're hoping we'll get him in a training room. We'll see what it'll be a game-time decision. But, and he can put the team on his back. He hasn't had to. But let's see what the Heisman, I don't think it'll affect him. Joe Burrow has done more with the Heisman Trophy than anybody in the history of the Heisman Trophy, I guess, with raising all the money back in his hometown in Ohio. That is really phenomenal to raise. I've heard different numbers, but almost, $500,000 for that. What a cool thing. And and his speech and everything.
Oh, no. He added to his legend. There is no doubt about it. In case people don't know, at the Heisman Trophy Award, when Joe Burrow was announced the winner, he went up and gave his acceptance speech, and he talked about growing up in southern Ohio and how people were hungry. And he wanted some people to, I guess through a FundMe page, raise money to make this a better Christmas and put food on the table for those that are hungry in his home area. And I think, Coach, he was looking for like $5,000, and they've raised $500,000. And do you know that they actually honored Burrow with naming his high school stadium after that because of the speech and what occurred? Not because he won the Heisman, because of what occurred after due to his speech.
Yeah. What good. I mean, what a great story. That's what sports should be about. That's the whole deal right there. I got chill bumps now. That is so cool.
I know.
And that guy has handled his business all year long. I mean, he's got a little flair to him. He's got a little cockiness to him. You know how he waved at the people at Texas, but he's had fun. He's played. Nobody in the country's played better than he has, and what he's done and come through, it's going to be fun. It'll be fun. I can't see him. I can't see OU hanging with them. I think the next game, I don't want to jump ahead, but the next game is really going to be something. I think, in my opinion, it'll be Clemson and LSU. But what a great thing that this guy's done with the Heisman and to blow it out like that.
All right, let's look at the Ohio State-Clemson game. And I must confess, I read all these things, and everybody says Ohio State, from the mighty Big Ten and the most complete team in the country if you look at offense and defense. And if you look at LSU, they've had moments where their defense didn't look so good. It was clearly the best offense, but Ohio State's right behind it. And they had, 3 of the top 4 guys in the Heisman voting from the same team. That's pretty impressive as well. Yet here's Clemson, the defending champions. Everybody wonders about their schedule, and they're the favorites by 2 points.
Yeah, but you know what I saw? They're the favorites by 2 points, but then the ESPN picked the probability of winning with the other team. I mean, so it's a balanced game. But I agree with you. Ohio State, both sides of the line of scrimmage, their defensive line is the best in the country. Their offensive line is one of the top 3 or 4 in the country. They got a great quarterback. They got running backs. They are as complete as anybody. But Clemson is so overlooked. Trevor Lawrence has had a better season than he did as a freshman. And people jump on the new guy, but they just passed him up. He's played so well this year. And then with ETN running back, they're better on defense statistically than they were a year ago. Brent Venables has altered that defense. They play a little more 3-3 stack. What we used to play in Memphis years ago, and he's added that little wrinkle to it. I just think Clemson, they got a chip on it. They're really, really good and have a chip on their shoulder. And I just think that they're going to come in. They got something to prove. But anything. I mean, it's really the top 3 in Oklahoma, and so Oklahoma will probably win it. By me saying that,
no,
but it's
I'm with you.
A great 4 teams.
Right.
I can't wait to get after it.
Let's just say it is Clemson and LSU as you predict. Who wins that game if those are the 2 for the championship?
I don't know how you can go against Joe Brady, but you know how I feel about Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah,
and I really think that Trevor Lawrence, Brett Venables, and Dabo Swinney, I will take those 3 guys. I'm picking Clemson for the national championship.
Wow.
Based off those 3 guys.
So you not only have Clemson beating Ohio State, but you've gotten them all the way through to the end to be the champs, and that would be 2 in a row, and no one's done that.
You realize that what's the quarterback's name? And I'm just drawing a blank right now.
For who?
The quarterback's name at Clemson.
Oh, Trevor Lawrence.
Yes. Trevor Lawrence is 69-1.
I know.
That's his record over his last 70 games. He is 69-1.
You know what? He had a slow start this year, and that allowed Burrow
got lucky against North Carolina.
And Justin Fields, right? He got lucky. They got lucky against North Carolina. That's what hurt him in the national recognition game. Really, in my opinion, it allowed Burrow, Justin Fields, all these other guys to pass him up as the potential Heisman Award winner, and he played really well down the stretch. The last 5 or 6 games, he's been brilliant. And I guess the other thing is there's no Florida State real competition there, at least for the moment. Mike Norvell will turn that around, I promise. Virginia Tech's not as good as they used to be. That was another plus game or a possible championship game that you could build your resume on. And unfortunately, they had Virginia this year. They didn't have anybody that he could really make his name on.
No, not at all. And like we said, was fortunate in the one big game with North Carolina that got a lot of attention, but still, the guy is a pure stud. He's got a much better arm than Joe Burrow. He's 6'6". He stands back there in the pocket. He can throw from the pocket. He can throw moving. He is excellent. He's excellent with pressure against him. He's got great receivers. ETN at the running back.
Right.
But again, they still have, Clemson has an unbelievable defense that nobody talks about. So they got the full package, and Dabo's telling them, hey, nobody respects you. You've won 28 games in a row or whatever it is, and nobody respects you. Everybody else is kind of happy to get there. But not Clemson. Clemson has been disrespected to get there. So I just think Dabo's been there. Ed Orgeron has not been there. Ryan Day has not been there. So
Lincoln Riley.
Oklahoma has been there. They know it, but that's not the best team. So I don't know. I'm not jumping on the table for them, but I just think Clemson and people cannot deny what they've done. All the games that they've won, and they hadn't fallen off a bit. And they're, and now Dabo, I saw a little clip on him yesterday. He's saying, "Hey, we're happy to be picked to be here." What do you think he's saying in that locker room?
Oh, he's telling them that you've been disrespected. You go show them, Coach. As always, Merry Christmas to you. Happy New Year. I know this is your last appearance this year. Have a great summer. We'll pick it up again next fall. And I'm going to miss talking to you every week.
Me too. I really appreciate you guys having me on. It is a joy for me. It's a treat for me. I hope some people have enjoyed listening to some football talk. But I really appreciate you guys having me on. It is a tremendous privilege to be on with you, Dave. Have a great Christmas. You guys take care.
Happy and healthy. Thank you. That's John Thompson down in Atlanta. We got to take a break. I'll let you know this hour. The program's brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch. And, of course, the genesis of Olive Branch, my favorite new thing to talk about. With a car so good, you've got to go try it. And they'll let you test drive it. They got a thing called flexible test drives. You can take it for a while, really get the feel. Now, I'm going to warn you, it's addictive. You'll get hooked. These cars, these Genesis cars, the best darn luxury car you've ever seen. Go see the technology. You get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty on every new Genesis, just like every new Hyundai. This technology is so good. And then you've got the marriage with the best service. Wow. That is the way car business should be done, and you need to find out for yourself by getting down to Olive Branch. Go see my friends at Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. Back in a minute, we'll put a wrap on hour number 2 of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
Everyone at Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7 wants to wish all of you a very happy holiday season.
Ho, ho, hold it. There's a brand new Chevy in Olive Branch with a big red bow and your name on it. If you're ready for a new Chevy, a Silverado, a Traverse, the all-new Blazer, ready for any new Chevy, most of All-Star's new 2019s are now at employee prices. You know what that means? You could save thousands paying what the employees pay. And most of the 2019s are included. All-Star has lots of 2019s, people. Lots more than any other Mid-South dealers. And All-Star Chevrolet and Olive Branch has the best testing grounds in the Mid-South. Back roads, highways, get a feel for it, and maybe that'll end up underneath your tree. Just go to allstarautogroup.com and see what I'm talking about. And remember, don't go to the Pike or Mount Moriah or Collierville or South Haven. For the Beat Any Dealer's Price Challenge and your best time ever, it's gotta be Olive Branch. So find new roads to All-Star Chevy and Olive Branch or go to allstarautogroup.com today. It's time to bring in the old and drive home with the new.
When you're diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer,
a lot of questions run through your mind.
What am I going to do? What are my options?
What did I do wrong?
We've had those thoughts too.
But some questions can help you move forward.
Visit findyourmbcvoice.com for an interactive guide to help you learn the next steps to take after an MBC diagnosis.
And how to ask the questions that lead to an open and informed conversation with your doctor.
Start finding your voice today
at findyourmbcvoice.com.
I'm here with the great Pat Donahue from the Rendezvous Restaurant Shipping Department.
Thanks, Brett. We've been shipping our ribs all over the country now for decades from our USDA-inspected shipping kitchen in the Pinch District. We hand-cook our ribs in pits that Mr. Charlie built over charcoal, just like they do at the restaurant.
So what comes in a rib box?
We could do pork shoulder, we could do ribs, our sauce, seasoning, baked beans, coleslaw. We'll even throw in Pancho's cheese dip with our nacho boxes. We also put a bag of Rendezvous seasoned popcorn, heating instructions, some chef hats, some wet naps, and some other helpful tips from our kitchen. We ship our ribs overnight, exclusively FedEx. And we put them in nice packaging. We don't ever want to use styrofoam, so we use corrugated cardboard, actually 2 boxes that fit nice together, so the ribs get to you, your loved ones, or your clients in a safe, wholesome manner. Rendezvous ribs are perfect for out-of-town clients, customers, loved ones. We also ship ribs for any occasion.
Where do we order these great ribs?
You can go to www.hogsfly.com or give us a call at 1-888-464-7359.
Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous Restaurant in the alley since 1948.
Pop the top on your next party. 34 North Cocktails. Available in Memphis now. Great for football grove parties, around the hunting campfire, and when you get home, entertain friends. Pop a premium can of Barrel Thief. Tastes just like an old-fashioned Barrel Thief made with aged bourbon, bitters, a hint of orange, a touch of vanilla, 15% ABV. Then, for you vodka lovers, try Sneaky Pucker, a refreshing lemonade premium vodka cocktail, 12.5% ABV. Made with super premium vodka, lavender, simple syrup, and lemonade. Delicious and smooth. Let the party begin with 34 North Cocktails.
Hey folks, I'm Jarrett Carter. My family recently purchased East Memphis Ace Hardware at Quince and White Station, and we're excited to offer the best selection of Big Green Egg and Traeger grills. And then don't forget about our Benjamin Moore Paint Studio and the Garden Center for fall flowers. Save 60% with our new Duracell key fob replacement program. We have a master locksmith service as well as glass cutting and screen repair. We're located at Quince and White Station behind Three Little Pigs. Look forward to seeing everyone over the holidays.
Now, more of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshyn and Brad Norsworthy.
My world was strapped against my back. I held my hands, never knew.
Welcome back in. Final segment. We ran a little long with John, so this will be a quickie. So nice to have you with us, and Merry Christmas to one and all. And Pete Carroll's trying to make this a Christmas where the old gang comes back together. I don't know if you saw Chris Carson, their running back, got hurt. Probably not going to play. On the way to Seattle at this very minute to meet with the coach to see if he's in shape is Marshawn Lynch.
I love it. I think it'd be great to have beast mode back.
But will he be beast mode? Is he?
Oh, probably not. Nowhere close. Is he going to be?
He's 31
close?
now, isn't he? I think he's 31.
Which is still relatively young. I mean,
not for a running back, it isn't.
Maybe not for a running back. I mean, he's in his later years, but as long as he's still in shape and now there's 2 different types of shape when it comes to the NFL. There's the shape that we all think that, is in good shape, and then there's playing shape. I mean, I doubt he's going to come back to be in playing shape to where he can actually contribute, maybe 20-plus carries a game. But, I mean, if he can give you a solid 10 for 50, 55 yards, I think you take it.
If he's anything like he was before he retired. Now, so he really hasn't played a full year, I don't think, since like 15 or 16. He played in parts of years with the Raiders, right? He always got injured. I don't know. But I'm with you this way. He was a great player, right? And I'm sure he's in decent shape if he's trying this. And what have you got to lose?
Absolutely nothing. I mean, it's not like it's going to really hurt his legacy or
and
his reputation.
He knows the system. He would have to help, and especially now that they've got a hole. That is for sure. This portion of the show brought to you by the Spirit Shop. Oh, yeah, I hope you're going for all your Christmas parties. You're probably still stocking up. Maybe you're out now because you already had a good one, or you're ready for one for Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. You got to go to a place where they take care of you, and that is the Spirit Shop. Eddie Connor and family there since 1969. They've been hanging out at Poplar and St. Nick, 4848 Poplar Avenue to be exact. And this is, I really like going in there because I always learn something about a new product or some sort of spirit that like I've never heard of before. And he'll educate me. It could be premium, it could be a bargain, could be wine, could be the newest accessory, it could be the new cocktails in a can. Always something cooking that's good that you'll learn. If you go to the Spirit Shop and load up for the holidays, the best place, the Spirit Shop at Poplar and St. Nick, that little log cabin just down from Clark Tower. 2 hours in the books. When we come back, Jack Ham, the great Pittsburgh Steeler and Penn State Nittany Lion, now they're analyst on the ball games. He's next on Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
It's a winter wonderland at Envy Nail Bar, and if you're looking to host a party during the holidays, I know just the perfect spot for you. Envy Nail Bar has the most beautiful private room that awaits you. Feel pampered and spoiled with their complimentary full premium adult beverage bar. Sit back and get a full body massage with your Petty Mani. I'm loving it. And don't forget your holiday gift cards. Everyone would love their Petty Mani. When you buy a gift card, you get a bonus gift card. Call Salon for details. Envy Nail Bar, corner of Poplar and Perkins.
If you find yourself plumb tuckered out by all the holiday shopping and whatnot this holiday season, call yourself a timeout and go get some delicious breakfast or lunch at Sunrise on Jefferson. Get away from all the hustle and bustle and settle into a perfect breakfast bowl for breakfast or an unbeatable burger for lunch. The menu at Sunrise is full of surprises, so you'll never get tired of stopping in. You'll always find something you haven't tried at Sunrise, and we guarantee it'll be just as great as everything else you've had. The holidays can be pretty exhausting, so give yourself a break by giving yourself some Sunrise.
Mid-South Power Distributors is your source for all things diesel. For more than 26 years, they've supplied all the diesel parts that you need. From simple repairs to complete overhauls, they have it all. Whether it's heavy, medium, light duty, agricultural, marine, or off-road, Mid-South Power is the leading source for all things diesel. Fuel injection, turbochargers, engine parts, alternators, starters, and brakes, they can supply all the parts and services you need. Stop in today at 3250 Mill Branch Road in Memphis or call 901-396-0710.
I'm a big fan of Town Village, and there is always something to do year-round. Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. Looking for a great place to retire, but you still have a very active lifestyle? Then visit Town Village. Only requirements that you're 55 plus. Prices per month starting at $2,300. The Gourmet Chef welcomes you to visit our restaurant and bistro. Package includes 3 complimentary meals per day, maid service, free local transportation, daily check-in, monthly coffee club, themed dinner parties, lots of fun. Visit us and call Daniel or Bo at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home. Town Village Audubon Park.
Nationally ranked Navy and Kansas State will meet for the first time ever at this year's AutoZone Liberty Bowl, and you'll want to be there as well. Plus, American Idol winner, country music star Scotty McCreery will perform at halftime. It's all happening December 31st at 2:45 in the afternoon. Get your tickets today by calling the AutoZone Liberty Bowl at 795-7700. The Tennessee Highway Safety Office reminds you that fans don't let fans drive drunk.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Wolosian and Brad Norsworthy.
Come on, Muhammad, we hit fame. We beat with the deal, we get insane.
Welcome back in. Hour number 3 on this Christmas Eve, as we get set to hopefully touch base with the great Jack Ham, who is, I guess for a while now, he's 20 years or so, he's been doing analysis for the Nittany Lions with a wonderful fellow named Steve Jones. And I think we're hooking up with him here momentarily. A little mix up on phone numbers, but we're going to get this thing all straightened out, and Jack's going to join us here in a minute. Just in case you don't know who Jack Ham is, he's part of the Steel Curtain. So in 1988, he made the Pro Football Hall of Fame. In 1990, he made the College Football Hall of Fame. He was a linebacker at Penn State, 68, 69, and 70 with Joe Pa. All he did was go 11-0, 11-0, and 73. He was a consensus All-American, and he was put on the Mount Rushmore of Penn State. And I love that term, and I know that it's one of those terms that Stats came up with for this market. And it's perfect because it means you're one of the pillars of that whole franchise, of that whole team. And he was the same way. He was with the Pittsburgh Steelers for 12 years, 4-time Super Bowl champ, 8 times to the Pro Bowl, 1975 Defensive Player of the Year. He made the 100th anniversary all-time team. And he's part owner of the Johnstone's Tomahawks. I wonder, it was Johnstown that was part of Slapshot, wasn't it? I'm going to find out for sure. Jack Ham's going to join us. He never expected me to ask him this, I am certain. Jack, thank you for giving us some of your time today. You may already be down in Dallas, but Johnstown, wasn't that where Slapshot was? The movie, the hockey movie?
Exactly correct. And there's in the Holiday Inn in Johnstown, there's a big picture of Paul Newman right between the elevators.
Now, there's a little Memphis connection to be that you'll never guess. That the very first year, one of the first hockey teams that we had was a CHL team, the Memphis River Kings. The very first coach they had was a guy named Steve Carlson, who was one of the Hanson brothers in that movie. How's that?
Okay. Well, those Hanson brothers, they were two characters. So
they were.
I didn't realize that, but small world.
They were the Chiefs, though, in that movie, weren't they? If I remember right.
Correct.
Yeah,
they were the Chiefs.
Man.
They were. In fact, those Hanson brothers, they do some personal appearances around the country. The people that still remember that movie.
I think Steve Carlson actually may still do that. He's a wonderful fellow if you ever get a chance to meet him. Are you still part owner of that team?
Oh no, there's a new team in town in Johnstown now, and it's the Tomahawks that I am a part owner, and they're doing just about okay. They're not setting the world on fire, but Johnstown's a good hockey town, and the Tomahawks needed an arena around 4,000. That's exactly what that arena holds. So it was a natural to go into Johnstown a number of years ago, and being from there. And I decided to be a part owner.
That's great. That really is. All right, Jack, let's talk a little bit about this game. Are you in Dallas already?
No, I'm not. I'll be going down on Christmas Day. I'll be going down. So, no, I am not there yet.
Because I know Penn State's been there since Saturday because the Cotton Bowl does an unbelievable job of informing you of what is happening every moment with every team, and I do appreciate that. But they've been there since Saturday. The Nittany Lions, the Tigers have been there they've been there since Sunday. So I know they are getting to see Dallas, and they are being treated like kings. That is for sure. Bowl games are funny. Teams want to be there most of the time. Sometimes they think like, well, maybe they should have been at the Rose Bowl. What do you think is the mentality of James Franklin's team coming into this game?
Well, I think there's no question about it. Penn State ended up being 11-2, and after the championship games in the conference championship games, there was a lot of conversation of where Penn State was going to end up going. But we had been there in the Rose Bowl a couple of years ago against Southern Cal in a defensive struggle. I think it was 52-49. In that game, and so the last team with the football ended up winning, and that was Southern Cal. But we had a great experience out there as well. I think that a lot of these players, they have not been to the Cotton Bowl, they have not been to Dallas, and they've got an opportunity to go there right now. And the mindset is this will not be a Penn State team because they come in there and thinking that they're just they don't want to be there or it's not the big game. No, they're not. They're not looking at that at all. And James Franklin has his football team grounded, and they look at it as a stepping stone for next year as well for a football team that's relatively young.
I just went while we were dancing around trying to get you connected through your incredible resume here. And I know you know football as well as anybody, and you've been an analyst for quite a while. When you see Memphis on tape, what do you think?
Well, I think, initially, you look at all the skilled players you have, the guys who can take it and at any time make big plays. You got a number of wide receivers out there. Coxie is a guy who I think is going to be a handful for our secondary because we've struggled at times against big wide receivers going downfield against our corners, and he's a guy that, boy, just watching him on tape, he bodies up people. He knows how to get the ball at the high points. He's got outstanding hands out there and runs really good routes. You've got a number of those kind of guys. The one thing when you have a running back who can catch the football as well as Memphis has, that puts a lot of pressure on the Penn State linebackers, and I think that may be the key of the game. How well Penn State matches up with your guys, and we have got athletic linebackers, but we haven't had the opportunity this year in the Big Ten to cover people out of the backfield as talented as Memphis has.
That's interesting, and that you look at that matchup because I've sort of looked at our offensive line against your huge defensive line and how athletic they are and how Memphis will be able to keep them off of everybody.
Well, you know what? Our defensive line, it's a big defensive line inside, but on the outside, we've got guys with defensive ends. And I'm not, we've got a couple of injuries out there that, I think there's going to be factors in that, in the matchup with your offensive line against our defensive line. The unsung heroes for this defensive line has been the guys inside. Sheldon and Windsor have been really, tough against the run. Last years before, Penn State people would be very physical, the Michigans, the Ohio States, and hammer the football at us inside. We've been able to be, stout inside right now, and then that opens it up for our defensive ends on the outside to rush the passer. And if Gross Matos can't go, and he's probably going to be a last-minute decision, but Shaka Tony on the outside, Jason Oweh, really speed, athletic guys out there. If we get the stalemate and the push up the middle from our defensive tackles, that opens it up for our defensive ends, and they have been athletic. Shaka Tony, probably on that defensive line, has probably been the most productive defensive player we've had all year.
Team speed. You and I were chatting a couple of days ago, and I was talking a little bit about, as a collective unit, I thought our team speed was really good. You were saying that might be one of the strengths of the Nittany Lions, particularly on the D side.
Without a doubt. I think not only our defensive linemen who are athletic, big but athletic, but when you get into our linebackers and into our secondary, we've got Cam Brown on the outside and Micah Parsons. And Micah Parsons already made a number of All-American teams, but they're 6'4", 245 for Parsons, probably about 6'5" for Cam Brown. If you look at our outside linebackers, they look like power forwards in the NBA. That's the look they have. But we that's what we've changed from last year. Much more speed. These guys can all run, and they will rotate a lot of players in there as well. Brandon Smith, who's a true freshman, a linebacker, 5-star linebacker, 240 pounds. You'll see a lot of him. We'll rotate Ellis Brooks in there, Jeffrey McKenna, along with Micah Parsons and Cam Brown. So all those guys can run. They're around 235, 240, and good-sized linebackers. You have to have linebackers who are athletic. In this college football day and age, with the RPO and spread you out all over the field, you've got to be athletic, especially in that outside linebacker position. And I think we have those guys here right now. And it's a young defense. It'll get better next year.
That Micah Parsons numbers this year, with the way he's separated himself from everybody else, that he looks Jack Ham-like.
Well, I don't think Jack Ham ran 4.5 under at 240 pounds. But he is a guy who didn't play linebacker in high school. He's a 5-star kid out of the Harrisburg area here in Pennsylvania, and he lined up as a slot guy on their offensive side.
Really?
So he played defensive end. He played all over the field in high school. So when he came here, he had to learn how to play linebacker. And last year, I think, was really a growing experience for him. And now this year, feeling more comfortable. And I think the sky's the limit next year for him, because to understand the game and with like I said, the spread, the RPO, and all the things you've got to be, he's got that burst, and that's what you want from a linebacker. He gets time to 10 yards, and he is one of the quickest guys out there. How fast you go from zero to making impact on a running back or wide receiver, that's the key to being a great linebacker. He has all those skills. Now he has learned how to really play the linebacker position, and I just cannot wait till next year to see what he brings to the table.
On the offensive side, you've got a quarterback that I think is a bit like the Memphis quarterback in that he manages the game well, has a serviceable arm. He can run a little bit too.
Without a doubt. I think the big surprise offensively has been Clifford, because you really didn't know if he was going to be the guy. Go back a year, and Tommy Stevens thought would be the heir apparent after Trace McSorley. He ends up going into the protocol and ends up going to Mississippi State. So Sean Clifford emerged, and it was somewhat of a battle, but I think for the most part, Clifford along with Will Levis. But it was always Clifford was going to be the number one guy, and he just each week, and that's what you want from not just a quarterback but any position. You can see how he gets better and better with the more experience he has out there. And you're right, he's got a good enough arm. He doesn't have a rocket, but he's got a good enough arm, and he runs better than people think. He's made a lot of plays running the football in our RPO. So, I mean, and just making good decisions downfield. He throws a long ball very well, likes to get the football to Freiermuth, our tight end, and also KJ Hamler, but he'll spread it around as well, get it to our backs out of the backfield. But how he has improved all throughout the year, I think if you talk to James Franklin, that has been the big surprise on the offensive side.
You use a lot of running backs, and Memphis has sort of done this too. But you got, I think, a real rotation of 3 or 4 guys, and I always wonder when I see that, is that because they're all really good, or is just there's not one guy that you can go to and say, this is my speed guy or my bread and butter guy?
Well, I think initially these guys are 5-star running backs, a couple of them out of Virginia in Ford and Slade. And I think James Franklin initially in preseason camp, not one of them really kind of emerged. But then as the season has gone on, initially it was Noah Kane, who's, again, a true freshman who did a great job of running inside the tackles. He was very physical, got those extra 3 or 4 yards on almost every play. But then again, he got banged up a little bit and then ended up being Journey Brown. Really, down the stretch, he has really been the guy. Very, very quick, elusive, made big runs in games against Ohio State, Michigan, and down the stretch, he was getting over 100 yards in games where our running game was really solid, especially in the second half. So, yeah, we started off with 4, a couple guys mixed up, but I think it's Brown now in the rotation to start the game, and a guy who's going to come on, I'm sure, in the next couple of years is Ford, a true freshman again out of Virginia, and he's a talented running back, and I think those 2 guys might emerge.
Third of the game, special teams. Memphis has been excellent this year, but you guys are pretty good in that department too.
Well, yeah, because we put our best, most dynamic player on special teams. We'll have KJ Hamler on kickoff returns. We'll have him on punt returns. Any way we can get the football in his hands in open field, James Franklin is going to try that. So, yeah, I mean, that's been a key. We've had a couple of kickoffs run back, one against Michigan, called back, and a punt as well for KJ Hamler. So he's been his numbers aren't all that great, but he's been dynamic out there, and we've been one illegal block in the back away from a couple of big plays for touchdowns for him throughout the season. But, one thing Penn State is aware of how good Memphis is on special teams, and I agree with most coaches. Special teams, you got offense 1/3, defense 1/3, and special teams is a third of the game as well. And you guys are outstanding.
And this Hamlin kid is terrific. As you say, he not only returns, but he's one of your top receivers. I can't wait to really get a good look at him. And then let's just chat a little bit about James Franklin. We got to know him here a little bit. He came to an AutoZone Liberty Bowl when he was the coach of Vanderbilt, and so we got to know him a little bit. He's a delightful guy, very articulate and interesting man, and it seems to me he's really found a home there. I know there was talk a little bit about him going to USC when that job was maybe going to open. There was a little talk before Norvell got the job that he might end up at Florida State, but I think he's happy where he is. Jack, you tell me.
Well, but without a doubt, I think in getting James Franklin, it was a perfect situation, marriage for Penn State and James Franklin. And he took over our program where we needed a guy who could really recruit, and James Franklin is outstanding in that way. He did it, and he wasn't trying to fix it, piecemeal real quickly and burn guys' red shirts, whatever. He was patient, and we've gotten better and better each year. A couple years ago, we ended up winning the Big Ten championship, and it's because of how each year this football team has more depth right now, and it's because of the recruiting that he has done. And yes, you're right about the fact other colleges, wanted to see if they could talk to him about going to their university. But I think in the back of my mind, I think Penn State is where he loves to be, and I think he's going to make him his home here for a long time to go. But he has been the perfect fit for Penn State and moved this program along.
We're talking with Jack Ham, longtime analyst of the Nittany Lions. I'd be remiss, and I'm sure you're probably...
Not that long time.
How long?
20.
Oh, just 20.
20 years.
I'm sorry.
20 years of Steve Jones. Steve Jones is just an incredible guy to work with, and you got a chance to meet him, but I've been with him now, like I said, 20 years, and it's gone by very quickly.
Well, it does. It all goes by quickly. But I want to go before that when you played for the Steel Curtain. I'm from Chicago, so the 85 Bears to me are, that's the pinnacle of what the NFL could possibly be, especially on defense. But my second favorite team is your team. That team with all the guys that were on it, and I really wanted to ask you this, but we were all business before. But I got to ask you, what was it like in practice going up against Terry Bradshaw, Lynn Swann, Franco Harris, Rocky Blyer? I'm trying to remember the center because he was like the Iron Man.
Mike Webster.
Mike Webster, thank you.
Yeah.
I mean,
yes.
Unbelievable characters, but unbelievable champions, 4-time Super Bowl champions. I mean, that's amazing. What was that like?
Well, it was, and you could look at it the other way with that offense going against Joe Green and L.C. Greenwood,
right,
and Ernie Holmes and Dwight White. Our training camps, and this football team, it's free agency today. We did not have that back when I played, so we stayed together. That was a 7-8 year run where we had the same guys out there. I always knew Mel Blount was going to be that right corner out there all the time, and Mike Wagner, our safety, and Lambert, where you get really, you.
Oh, Jack Lambert, I forgot about him. Yeah,
yeah, and incredible, and we ended up winning our Super Bowl with Jack Lambert, our middle linebacker, as a rookie. He called all the fronts and all the secondary calls for us defensively, and they talk about Jack Lambert being this crazy guy, and there's no question he is. But he's one of the smartest players I've ever played with, because as a rookie to come in here and be our starting middle linebacker and take it all the way to the Super Bowl and win it is a big thing for a rookie to come in, and he was just outstanding for us. But our training camps were difficult. Back then you did 1 against 1 a lot of times in training camp. So those battles out there were awfully physical, and you know what? It ended up making us a better football team.
I think when Bradshaw first got there, your first year wasn't a great year, if I recall. When did you know you had this total package?
Well, I was there, but I think I came a couple years after Bradshaw. Bradshaw's rookie year, they won their first game and dropped 15 in a row.
I knew it was bad.
It was not. And then all of a sudden, my draft in '71, where Frank Lewis was a great wide receiver for us, and we got Mike Wagner and Ernie Holmes in that draft. Jerry Mullins on offensive guard, and we got a lot of players that year. And then that '74 draft, we were a good football team after my second year at Pittsburgh. In '74 is the draft where we got Lynn Swann in the first round. We got Jack Lambert. We got Mike Webster and John Stallworth. Those are the first four picks.
Wow.
All four of those guys are in the Hall of Fame. And we were a good football team before that. That put us over the top, and that's when we won our first Super Bowl that year.
And you all stayed together. I don't know if that would happen in this day and age with
not
free
yet.
agency. Yeah.
People tell us here in Pittsburgh how loyal we were to stay here the entire year. Well, there was nowhere to go. You didn't have the free agency. So I'm not sure we'd have won 4 Super Bowls in 6 years in this environment today, because I think guys maybe after 1 or 2 might be going off to a different team or whatever the case may be. But back then, because we stayed together, we had those guys for a 7-8 year run.
And the Rooneys have always been really loyal to their coach. And you had Chuck Noll's the only guy you ever had, right?
Exactly. I mean, Chuck, and if all the players, that we had on that team, we had great players and Hall of Fame players, but that you need that coach, the glue, the chemistry to pull that whole thing together. And sometimes you can have outstanding individual players, but they don't play well in a team situation. And Chuck Noll always drafted those kind of guys, and we kind of bought into what Chuck Noll was selling. He's the unsung hero of this whole thing, and I think we don't win those championships without Chuck Noll.
He's Jack Ham, Hall of Famer, an excellent broadcaster for the Nittany Lions. He and Steve Jones will be in the booth away, I guess, the opposite side of us. Can't wait to meet you, Jack. It's been a real pleasure chatting with you the couple times we already have, and I can't wait to meet you in person.
Looking forward to it, and I'll see you in a couple of days.
You got it. Thank you. Merry Christmas. That is Jack Ham, the great Jack Ham, and I'm not kidding when I say that. You Hall of Famer, that's all you got to say, in both college football and in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. This portion of the show is brought to you by Soulfish. We got family in. I am sure one night we will be heading to Soulfish. This is the number one soul well, let's see. There's so many I always get confused. It's catfish. You already know that, right? Then there's seafood, and then there's soul food. 3 different categories, number one, and now 4 different places in Memphis alone to go. There's one in Oxford. There's one in Little Rock. Now the latest is at Wolf Chase, and they are doing gangbuster business. It started in Cooper Young, right on Cooper Avenue. Then it went to the Shops of Forest Hill Irene. That's Germantown, but right on the Collierville border. Then the third one was at Perkins and Poplar, just a little east of Perkins in the old Wolf Cameron location. That one's packed all the time, too. The reason these places are packed is, 1, the recipes are outstanding. They've always been. But 2, it's consistency. Never had a bad meal there. I've never been there where the catfish wasn't perfect, or the shrimp, and they got this great fried shrimp that I love, wasn't perfect. Or you can even put those in the tacos, where the salsa and the guacamole are freshly homemade every day, everything from scratch. And then the desserts, if you can make room for them, because the portions are huge, but if you want the best banana cake or pecan pie, which you can have a la mode, you're in heaven. It's the holidays. Enjoy. Go crazy. Get to one of those Soulfish locations. Back in a minute. It's time for our Monday Night Football preview. That comes your way next with our Big 4 on Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
Sports 56 now has 2 FM homes. You can now find real sports talk on 96.1 as well as 87.7 on your FM dial.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
The Starlight Lounge presents An Evening with the Progressive Box.
Old moon, yeah. That's Hugo, tickling the ivories. He just saved by bundling home and auto with Progressive. Gonna finally buy a ring for that gal of yours, Hugo? Send her my condolences. Hi-oh! This next one's for you two. There's a burglar in my heart. Thank you.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Hi, I'm Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. If you need a roof for your home or business, we hope to hear from you and we will work hard to earn your business. We are experts and certified in residential and commercial roofing, siding, and gutter installation. We have been serving the Memphis area for over 20 years, and now with two of my sons working with me, we plan to be here for many years to come. So if you need a roof, please give us a call. On a personal note, what a great time to be a Memphis sports fan. With the Grizzlies' new look, the Redbirds, the 901 FC, and the Tigers football and basketball teams, it's going to be a fun year. Thank you to Coach Norvell, Coach Hardaway, and their staffs for your dedication to your student athletes, the University of Memphis, and to fans like me who have waited forever to have both the football and basketball teams ranked at the same time. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical, 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Hey folks, I'm Jarrett Carter. My family recently purchased East Memphis Ace Hardware at Quince and White Station, and we're excited to offer the best selection of Big Green Egg and Traeger grills. And then don't forget about our Benjamin Moore Paint Studio and the Garden Center for fall flowers. Save 60% with our new Duracell key fob replacement program. We have a master locksmith service as well as glass cutting and screen repair. We're located at Quince and White Station behind Three Little Pigs. Look forward to seeing everyone over the holidays.
Christmas in Memphis comes early this year. Bring the family and join a group of all Memphis musicians Monday night from 6:30 to 10:30 for a Christmas in Memphis concert at Neil's Music Room on Quince. Live auctions, silent auctions, raffles, and Santa will be there, as well as pictures for the kids. Admission is $10 adults, $5 for kids. All proceeds benefit St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. It's Christmas in Memphis for family and friends by Memphis musicians Monday night at Neil's on Quince. Ho, ho, ho!
Welcome back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales.
Here once again
are Dave Wolosian and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome back in. Brad again off until Thursday. I know he'd want to wish you all a very, very Merry Christmas. He's getting to spend a little time with his family. Hope he really enjoys it. That is for sure. That was a lot of fun for me, getting to talk with Jack Ham, and I'm really looking forward to this matchup with Penn State. I know, Drew, you've been getting every update from all the folks at the Cotton Bowl.
Oh, yes. They are very thorough. If you're credentialed for this game, you would know. I've already received, I believe, 5 emails today from the Cotton Bowl with schedules, media releases, quotes from players, coaches. And the week that I've received since I got confirmed that I will be credentialed, I've had to have been sent 25 email updates from the Cotton Bowl. I mean, they are very thorough.
They're great.
If there's anything you want to know, they've already sent it to you.
You think that's good? How about the way on schedule they are, where they get you to so many different events and meetings and hospital visits or restaurants or whatever it is. And the thing, and I don't know if they're doing that this time, but John Thompson, when he said they got a new president in their room every night, that's kind of cool.
Well, you might get the president. I'm not staying at the team hotel. But
I got news for you. That's going to be for the players and the staff.
You don't get
no. I'm just
the radio crew never gets a single bowl gift.
No, nothing.
We got to change that.
We just get what the media gets. Well, they'll give us like a
not
even
even your good friends Steve Earhart gave you any media gifts when we played in the Liberty Bowl.
No.
We got to talk to him about that.
Yeah, they used
change.
to. I don't know if they do this anymore. They used to, like Steve learned this, and we'll have to ask him next time we have him on. We used to have these old USFL Memphis Showboat watches. They were the coolest watches, and I wore mine. I loved it. It was like the last watch I ever wore because I don't like anything on my wrists. But I wore this one, and then it finally, like seriously, 12 years later, it broke down. And I think Earhart wore his for 20 years. He probably had a few. But they used to do that for the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. They used to give watches out. I don't think they do that anymore because everybody's got a phone now. Nobody uses that to tell time.
Actually, watches, especially among people my age, are making a pretty big comeback.
Well,
just
that's
because
because
it's a fashion statement more than
Oh,
anything.
really?
Yes,
I thought you were
it's
going to tell
becoming
me
part of fashion.
it's like the Fitbit
Oh,
stuff.
not even the Fitbit. I mean, I wear the Fitbit just because it's sleek, it's easier, and it's a lot less expensive than a high-dollar watch. But watches are starting to come back into fashion. It's more of a fashion statement than used to tell time.
Okay. Well, we used to have a guy on here. Part of his business is he does what they call gift suites for bowl games. And John's his name. He used to be a regular caller on this show. And they used to do like 30 of the bowls. I don't know if he's still doing that business. We haven't heard from him in a while. I hope he's okay. The AutoZone Liberty Bowl was not one of those bowls, but they do have a setup where I think what they do is they go down to the Bass Pro Shops and they give them like $500 worth of credit and go crazy. Go get one thing or go get 20 things, but your total is $500.
Yeah, I think they also do that with Best Buy. I know they've done it with Best Buy back in the day. I know when I was an intern for the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, they did Best Buy tote bags, and they did custom AutoZone Liberty Bowl headphones, which I actually got a pair of. Unfortunately, they broke about a year ago, where it's AutoZone Liberty Bowl logo on the top of the headphones. It had logo here and then like flag stripes up and down. It was pretty cool.
When disc movie things first came out, where you, instead of being on like a tape.
A DVD.
A DVD, thank you. When those DVD things came out, I think the AutoZone Liberty was one of the first one that had like the where you'd put it in and had the picture, the TV set built into it, so that you could travel with
so a portable DVD player.
Portable DVD player. There you go. Very hard to figure out. But
words are tricky today, especially against the holidays.
I think we're both halfway out the door.
I think we are as well.
To be honest with you, the holidays have taken the best of us. All right, in this slot, we always do Monday Night Football preview. It's Green Bay and Minnesota. As part of that preview tonight, what we like to do is do the Big Four. Unfortunately, we didn't know about this when we first started, but we got so many repeat games. We've had Green Bay and we've had Minnesota before. So now we're going basically 5 to 8 on the players. Do you remember who you had the first time?
I remember for the Vikings, I had Moss, Tarkenton, AP, and Chris Carter. For the Packers, I know I had Brett Favre, Bart Starr, and Reggie White. I can't remember who my fourth guy was.
I know I had Reggie. I did not have I had Bart Starr. I had Paul Hornung, and I had
You didn't have Brett Favre in there?
No. But I have him now. I'm trying to remember whom the other guy. Oh, Ray Nitschke. That's who I had. I had Ray Nitschke.
I might have had Nitschke in there then too.
So here's my four. Green Bay's quarterback, Brett Favre. Cornerback, Herb Adderley. He was a great player. Then the fullback, because I might have had Paul Hornung in there. The fullback was Jim Taylor. And the right guard, who wrote one of the first sports kind of like diary books. Did you, man, I'm trying to remember the name of the book. Dick Schaap wrote the book. It was co-wrote with Jerry Kramer, who was the right guard on that team. And it was called Instant Replay. It was one of the first sports books that became a bestseller. And Dick Schaap, who, of course, is no longer with us, his son still works for ESPN as an investigative reporter, does a great job. But Dick was really terrific on the air and a prolific writer, wrote many books. Anyway, it was called Instant Replay. Jerry Kramer sort of became famous for that. But those would be my Green Bay Packer 5 to 8. Favre, Adderley, Taylor, and Kramer.
I got some of those on there, at least some that you've already had on there. At 8, I had Paul Hornung. 7, Aaron Rodgers. Jim Taylor at 6. I have Don Hudson at number 5. I mean, the man basically invented the position of wide receiver as we know it today.
I might have had him on there. I can't remember exactly who my 4 were. That's the hard thing with Green Bay. There's really 15 guys that are, I mean, 3 quarterbacks, if you think about it. Favre, Aaron Rodgers, and Bart Starr all are Hall of Fame quarterbacks, without question.
I mean, that's what happens when you come up against a team of one of the founding members of the NFL. We're talking about 100 years of history here.
Exactly. Minnesota, not as deep. I know I had Tarkenton on there. I went with, because I'm pretty sure I had an Alan Page. So I went with the other guy. I went with Jim Marshall, Wrong Way Marshall. And they're, the Purple People Eaters. There were 4 of them that were really good. Carl Eller. He was incredible, too. I went with Randall McDaniel. He was a guard. He was a 12-time Pro Bowl, and I think he made it all 12 straight years. I think he's the only player in the history of the league that has ever done that. Chuck Foreman, the running back, and the great wide receiver, Chris Carter. Those are 5 to 8 for me.
I win a lot of defense on this one. I do have Randall McDonald at number 5, then Alan Page, Carl Eller, and Jim Marshall to round out my
So there
top
you go.
10.
There's your Purple People Eater right there. Yeah. They were great. They were tough. And they played the same time era as Frank Tarkenton. And Tarkenton was running around and making stuff happen, and then the Purple People Eaters would eat you up, literally. They were a fun team to watch. Tonight, the Packers and the Vikings. And this, trying to see who is the favorite in this game. I would imagine it's Green Bay at home. And Delvin Cook is not going to play in this game tonight, I don't think. So I would suspect that the Packers are the favorites, and
I'm seeing Minnesota minus 4.5 right now.
Yeah. Wow. Well, it is in Minnesota. That is the reason why, but we didn't put this in our group. If we were picking in this thing, I would probably take Green Bay. Give me the points.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'd definitely take Green Bay at this point because while Kirk Cousins is a decent quarterback, I would say he's middle-of-the-road quarterback of the NFL. He never shows up in primetime games, whether it's Thursday night football, Monday night football, Sunday night football. When it's prime time and the spotlight's on him, especially in the last couple of years, it seems like he just falls apart. I don't know if the pressure of the primetime game for a guy that's been in the NFL as long as he has still affects him that badly, but it ultimately looks like it.
I think it
mean,
does.
he's just terrible in prime time when everybody's watching.
The same way he was in Washington, it's carried over here. He's got a little better team, I think, here in Minnesota. But we know Aaron Rodgers shows up for those games.
Yeah, we know he knows how to play them.
And this one is for the division, and the Packers have only lost 3 times this year. The Vikings have lost 4. I know it's in Minnesota, but, man, that seems to me to be a crazy game. I think the game between UCF and Marshall is over now. Should be.
Yep, Central Florida won 48-25, which means they got the cover and everybody got a win.
We had a group lock on that, huh? That is good. That is good. There is a bunch of other NFL news. We'll probably get to that on the other side of all this because we do have crunch time coming your way, and there are some late stories that are coming in. I'll let you know this portion of the show is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch, and Homer Skelton's Genesis of Olive Branch. And the reason I now say both is because this is the new big thing that Hyundai and specifically Homer Skelton are really making a big deal of. They're going to enlarge the dealership. There are going to be separate entrances. You will see more Genesis product on the streets. The G90 is the one I've got now, and I fell in love with that car the very first time I got in it. The G70 is a little smaller. It's like a James Bond car. Quickness and smoothness and handling you'll love. Then they're going to have an SUV that is going to be out of this world. That is coming. And, of course, just like their Hyundais, every new car on the lot, every new Genesis gets a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. Now, let's couple that with what is the Homer Skelton Shopper Assurance. That is transparent pricing. It is there. It is the fairest price you're ever going to see anywhere, and you know with which you can work. Then there is flexible test drive. You can do this with the Genesis cars, too. Take it for a while. You can take it for a day. See how it feels. Then when you decide to buy, love this. You're in and you're out. This is not an all-day affair. They know your time is precious. They get you in and out at Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. And then the final thing, nobody else does this. If you've had this car for a day or two and you're thinking, wow, this is not the way it felt when I took it for the test drive. Any kind of buyer's remorse. You got 3 days to exchange the car. The 3-day worry-free exchange. Nobody does business like that except for Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. Go see for yourself. Get on Lamar. First exit in Mississippi is Craft Road. Turn left, and now you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. The perfect marriage of technology and service. That's what Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch is all about. Back in a minute, we'll close up this Monday on Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
Take Sports 56 with you on your phone or tablet. Download our official Sports 56 app today.
This hour brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. And at DeSoto Auto Sales, they specialize in late model cars with low mileage, high standards in the car industry. All the cars at DeSoto Auto Sales test driven and checked out from head to toe, bumper to bumper, unlimited inventory, every make, every model. And at DeSoto Auto Sales, if it's not on the lot, they will find it for you. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales and no high-pressure sales tactics. Laid-back atmosphere, you're treated like family, kind, courteous employees down at DeSoto Auto Sales in DeSoto County. The ultimate car experience. They know time is important, and they will get you in and out, test your car, credit approved in 45 minutes. We're living in a world today that time matters, and they know that. Check out the referrals at DeSotoAutoSales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and the surrounding area. 5704 Goodman Road, 662-890-7184. Again, DeSotoAutoSales.com. Come on down to DeSoto County to DeSoto Auto Sales on Goodman Road.
I'm a big fan of Town Village, and there is always something to do year-round. Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. Looking for a great place to retire, but you still have a very active lifestyle? Then visit Town Village. Only requirements that you're 55 plus. Prices per month starting at $2,300. The Gourmet Chef welcomes you to visit our restaurant and bistro. Package includes 3 complimentary meals per day, maid service, free local transportation, daily check-in, monthly coffee club, theme dinner parties, lots of fun. Visit us and call Daniel or Bo at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home. Town Village Audubon Park.
Ho, ho, hold it. There's a brand new Chevy in Olive Branch with a big red bow and your name on it. If you're ready for a new Chevy, a Silverado, a Traverse, the all-new Blazer, ready for any new Chevy, most of All-Star's new 2019s are now at employee prices. You know what that means? You could save thousands paying what the employees pay. And most of the 2019s are included. All-Star has lots of 2019s, people. Lots more than any other Mid-South dealers. And All-Star Chevrolet and Olive Branch has the best testing grounds in the Mid-South. Back roads, highways, get a feel for it, and maybe that'll end up underneath your tree. Just go to allstarautogroup.com and see what I'm talking about. And remember, don't go to the Pike or Mount Moriah or Collierville or South Haven. For the Beat Any Dealer's Price Challenge and your best time ever, it's gotta be Olive Branch. So find new roads to All-Star Chevy and Olive Branch or go to allstarautogroup.com today. It's time to bring in the old and drive home with the new.
You have to be up in 5 hours, 2 hours, 6 minutes. And when you hear, you realize that you haven't slept a wink. That's why there's ZzzQuil Pure Z's, a drug-free blend of botanicals with an optimal dose of melatonin, so you can fall asleep naturally with no next-day grogginess. It's available in both liquid and gummies, tastes great, and is non-habit forming. Pick up ZzzQuil Pure Z's from the sleep experts at Vicks ZzzQuil. ZzzQuil Pure Z's, naturally superior sleep. Available at retailers near you.
You'll see the dedication in every single step. You'll see it in the smiles. When the smiles are hard to get, you'll see it in the little things that add up to success. The caring and passion are the things that we love best.
Wolf Chase Limb Brace is your Mid-South provider for orthotics and prosthetics. They are an ABC accredited facility, and their practitioners are ABC certified. At Wolf Chase Limb Brace, their services include artificial limbs, legs and arms, braces of all kinds, and custom molded inserts. You can call them today at 901-507-7821 for their location on Highway 64 in between Germantown Parkway and Appling Road, or visit them at their new location in Jackson, Tennessee. That number is 731-660-5900, or visit them on the web at wolfchaselemonbrace.com.
Dedicated our life to yours. Wolf Chase Limb and Brace.
Welcome back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome back in. Final segment of our show. I want to definitely thank today really good folks. David Cobb, Cam Kinley, the really fine young man from Navy, the cornerback from Lausanne High School, the junior who is in town, John Thompson, his final appearance with us this year. And he likes Memphis in the Cotton Bowl. That was fun to hear. Jack Ham, the Hall of Famer, that was a real thrill to talk with the analyst for the Nittany Lions, but also a member of the Steel Curtain, those old great Steelers teams that got him in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and he was in the college, and he is in the College Football Hall of Fame. So that was really, really cool. With the win today and the cover, UCF over Marshall in a high-scoring game, I did want you to know, Drew, I did some quick math here now, and I am 6-3 on these bowl picks. You are now 5-4, as is Brett Norsworthy.
I have myself at 6-3. Maybe I did it wrong.
I think
because I got the win for UAB because I got him at plus 16.5.
I'll have to double check that. I'm. It was 16.5. What was the? I'll have to look to see on the final score on that one because I'm not really sure. I had myself with a win, so that may be wrong. I thought that in the end, App State covered that spread because I thought they won by 17. But we'll end up double checking on all of that. In the meantime, what we like to do right here for you is to give you crunch time.
This is Geraldo. It is crunch time. You are looking live. It's crunch time. In your life have you seen anything like that?
Golly, I don't remember that one.
Take questions again for the student athletes at this time, please.
He's a professional. He's pretty classy for his age.
In the crunch time, that's the frustrating part.
Oh, no, not again.
Little Penny could make some appearances this year.
Okay, I'm not huge into stats.
What's happening, big dog? How you doing?
Is this thing working?
Immediately when the buzzer sounds, he lets out this shriek.
He throw those ears forward. He was in stroke mode.
This is stupid. It's obviously crunch time.
Boop, boop, boop. That's what you're getting.
Time for Taco Bell Crunch Time. Taco Bell, home of the crispy tortilla chips, topped with a double portion of either seasoned beef or shredded chicken, plus refried beans, nacho cheese sauce, reduced fat sour cream, guacamole, and a 3-cheese blend. Nachos Bel Grande, heaping portion of chips, topped with ground beef, tomatoes, beans, nacho cheese sauce, and a dollop of sour cream. Taco Bell, home to great food you get on your way home real fast, and they bring you crunch time every day.
I just learned you're right. App State won by 14, not by the 16.5. I don't know why I wrote that down as 13.5, but you're right, it was 16.5. So everybody's 5-4. How about that? Very good. I also learned today, I hate this, Zach Ertz, the great Philadelphia tight end, he's got fractured rib. I don't know what, he's good. They've got to win on Sunday against the New York Giants. If they win, they're in. If the Cowboys were to win and the Eagles were to lose, the Cowboys are right back in it. It's not over yet, so that's really tough for sure. And I also learned during this broadcast that Mike McCarthy, the old Green Bay Packers coach, he is interviewing for the Carolina Panthers job, the one that Ron Rivera did such a good job with. I can kind of see where he might be able to come in, and because he's not that far removed from that kind of system, he might be a good answer for them.
I think he might. I think that McCarthy would work pretty well at Carolina. What I learned today is, as of today, Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson is the front runner for the NFL MVP award. If Lamar does win it, he will become only the 7th player to win both a Heisman Trophy and an NFL MVP award, joining Paul Hornung, O.J. Simpson, Earl Campbell, Marcus Allen, Barry Sanders, and Cam Newton to do it.
I guess I could have done without the settlement by Rick Pitino and the Adidas Shoe Company. How many years did he work for them? Like 13 years, something like that, where they had a sweet deal going. And, of course, they were funneling in players. And then it all went crazy with the FBI wiretaps and everything else. And they stopped paying him. And Pitino threatened to sue him, and they agreed to agree but not to let anybody know. Part of the settlement is confidentiality. We have no idea how much Rick Pitino ended up with. All the money that dude's making, and by the way, he's coaching in Greece, where they pay some decent salaries anyway when they pay. I think we don't have to worry about Pitino's pocketbook.
I don't think we do either. And according to that story as well, if you read the FBI bribery investigation apparently isn't over, but the NCAA says that more schools will receive notice of allegations in the coming months. So Louisville's definitely not out of the doghouse yet. It could still come crashing down.
I've been hearing that forever.
For them, what I could have done without is something I gave a Russ medal to, and that's the Isaiah Thomas situation over the weekend with him going into the stands to address a fan who cursed and flipped him off due to the fact that Isaiah made his second free throw and the fan didn't get his free Frosty from Wendy's. Luckily, nothing happened. Nothing terribly happened, But I think both parties are in the wrong. The fans should act like an adult, not act so immature. And IT's got to know, never, ever go into the stands. It's just going to create something
That's
bad.
on the player, in my opinion. And fans, they shouldn't be as foolish as they are, but it's crazy for you to lose your head that way. You should know better. Here's what I'm watching tonight. We got the Grizzlies and the Spurs. It'll start in about an hour. If you like college basketball, the Diamond Head Classic semifinals are on ESPN2 at 6 and at 10. I guarantee you Bill Walton will be on those. If you like hockey like my friend, you're going to watch the Predators and the Coyotes in Nashville.
That's Smashville to you.
Smashville. And most people will be watching tonight Monday Night Football with the Packers and the Vikings. And honestly, after watching my terrible Bears this past weekend, I couldn't care who wins the NFC North anymore. That'll do it for myself and for Drew. We're gone for a little bit. We'll hook up my friends in Dallas. Hope you will enjoy the Cotton Bowl, and then we will do this back here on Thursday. To all of our listeners, both Drew and I and Stats wish you all a very Merry Christmas.
I'm here with the great Pat Donahue from the Rendezvous Restaurant Shipping Department.
Thanks, Brett. We've been shipping our ribs all over the country now for decades from our USDA-inspected shipping kitchen in the Pinch District. We hand-cook our ribs in pits that Mr. Charlie built over charcoal, just like they do at the restaurant.
So what comes in a rib box?
We could do pork shoulder, we could do ribs, our sauce, seasoning, baked beans, coleslaw. We'll even throw in Pancho's cheese dip with our nacho boxes. We also put a bag of Rendezvous seasoned popcorn, heating instructions, some chef hats, some wet naps, and some other helpful tips from our kitchen. We ship our ribs overnight, exclusively FedEx. And we put them in nice packaging. We don't ever want to use styrofoam, so we use corrugated cardboard, actually 2 boxes that fit nice together, so the ribs get to you, your loved ones, or your clients in a safe, wholesome manner. Rendezvous ribs are perfect for out-of-town clients, customers, loved ones. We also ship ribs for any occasion.
Where do we order these great ribs?
You can go to www.hogsfly.com or give us a call at 1-888-464-7359.
Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous Restaurant in the alley since 1948.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flint Broadcasting Station.
Fox Sports Trending now.
We are counting down towards the final Monday Night Football game of the season as Minnesota hosts Green Bay. The Vikings will not have Dalvin Cook tonight at running back. Mike Boone set to take the bulk of the carries. Kickoff in Minneapolis will be at 8:15 Eastern Time. Adam Schefter reporting that the Carolina Panthers interviewed former Packers coach Mike McCarthy for their vacant head coaching position. With running back Chris Carson sidelined with a broken hip, the Seahawks looking for answers. One may be former Seattle running back Marshawn Lynch. He's in the Emerald City today. Of course, the Eagles also released Jay Ajayi today. Baltimore's not going to play quarterback Lamar Jackson, running back Mark Ingram, safety Earl Thomas Sunday in their regular season finale against Pittsburgh. The Ravens have already clinched home field in the AFC. And the Lakers tandem of LeBron James, Anthony Davis, they're questionable for Christmas Day against the Clippers. I guess they need a load management. I'm Ralph Irvin.
We are Fox Sports.
Fox Sports Radio's Odd Couple
One guy's married. One guy is divorced. One guy has no kids. One guy has 2 beautiful daughters. One guy went to college in a cornfield in Ohio. One guy went to an Ivy League school in the big city. One guy spends his Sunday morning seated in the pew.
Does this seem weird to anybody else?
The other spends it throwing money at the pole. Can these 2 sports writers share a radio show without driving each other crazy? From the Geico studios of Fox Sports Radio. And now with Jonas Knox in for Chris Broussard, here's Rob Parker.
Aww.